So if this is about competition, let us have competition.
Konnichiwa. It's Phil Spencer here from Xbox, and I'd like to invite players in Japan, across Asia, and around the world to tune in to the Xbox Tokyo Game Show 2024 broadcast on Thursday, the 26th of September at 7 p.m. Japan Standard Time. We hope you enjoy the show. Konnichiwa. It's Phil Spencer, and I'd like to invite players in Japan, across Asia.
Play it day one with Game Pass.
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of the Gamers Council. I'm your host, WEBDAVE, along with my co-host, Hargeet Chani. Hargeet, buddy, how you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing good. Hopefully that all worked. Try to do a little trickery, and who knows? Sometimes they mess up. But anyway, we'll
kind of duplicated, I think, a little bit there, but then you got it.
Well, you know, I tried. So. But that's all right. Better than nothing. So anyway, and we have a lot of topics to get to tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us in the chat. We already have 5 people on X, 50 people on YouTube. So we are good to go. I'm gonna share that out here in just a minute. So already up to 60. So that's awesome. So as we continue to grow, we're gonna get this show going. But first, I got to introduce our very special guest. Finally remodeled. And the last time we had him on, he just had a plant in the corner. And now we have Axel. Axel, buddy, welcome to the show. Iconic video games podcast, and also the Xbox Mornings with Xbox. Good Morning Xbox. I'll get it right here in a minute, dude. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic show. I loved it. Watched it this morning, in fact. So thank you so much for joining us, buddy. I see you're a Broncos fan too.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, man, it's a good day to be a Broncos fan. We finally got that W. But thank you. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit more than a plant in the corner. Yeah, we finally settling into the new home, and everything's going great. And again, thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate everything you do, WEBDAVE. Love the show. Love to be here.
It's our absolute pleasure to have you, along with the king of horror. I mean, you can't tell by his background. I don't know what you're doing wrong. That's right. That's it. It's the silent one who, fortunately, is not silent. Silent Cypher. What's up, buddy?
Good evening, everyone. That works. You know what? I should honestly have a cue on my Stream Deck to play some sort of horror movie or horror music, but I don't yet. Good evening. It's great to be hanging out with you guys again. I feel like it's been so long. So it's awesome to be invited back. Thanks for tolerating my shenanigans again.
Dude, we love having you on.
I'm stoked. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just like a tourist right now. I'm glowing a little bit because I get to hang out with all you gentlemen. Nice. But yeah, a lot of topics tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and the only horror thing I have on my board is this.
The Purge.
Hey, that works. That works.
There you go,
dude. I just introduced my daughter to that movie recently. That was an experience.
Yeah,
she gets bored with the horror movies we grew up on because they're too slow. Right. But something like that caused her to constantly be on the edge of her seat. So it was a cool experience. It's cool to see.
Nice.
I feel like
the only horror thing I have is this.
Dude, that's like the scariest thing of all. Good God.
Good.
I'm going to destroy your company. I mean, what?
I feel that the Silent Cypher's background there is like a movie set. It's like, oh, somebody gets pushed up against the movie, and it's okay. There's 2 knives back there. He's ready to go.
He
I
is.
just storm on the wall as I go.
Yeah.
He is ready to go. Gosh, Hargeet, we got a few things we'll kick around with the. Let's see. Here we go.
Jim Ryan's first party GoFundMe account. Nice. Member for 12 months. No message
Jim,
though. But
Jim.
that's good.
Yeah, good old Jim. Huh. I'd also like to welcome out Fark you. Fark you. Anyway, we do have another super chat from Adidas.
And Adidas $20.05 hooked up my 32X and Sega CD today. Oh, there you go. Playing Eternal Champion CD, an underrated fighting game. What's up, panel and chat? See you, Hargeet. Send olives. All right. We get the olives. Fine, here we go. Where are
Gotta see the olives.
The olives. Olives.
Yummy. Yummy. I like olives. I don't know. We all know that C Money does not.
Money does not.
No, he does not. He
They're
does
like this.
Disappointing.
He
Very
falls.
disappointing. Nothing wrong with olives. It's
Oh,
just
Oh,
me
that Bone Thugs and Harmony. Anybody listen to Bone Thugs? Yeah. Well, they did a sample from the Eternal Champions options menu music. I think is what it is, and so in one of their songs, the background, the sample is Eternal Champion. So I don't know. I just nerd. I'm super into music, so that's kind of one of those things that stands out to me. And I loved Bone Thugs when I was growing up. So yeah.
There you go. Let's see, and of course, in the chat is our good friend.
Why so serious?
So anyway, that's my excuse to play it, man. I can't help it. Oh goodness! A lot of great members in the chat already. So welcome out, everybody. We greatly appreciate you, each and every one of you, for joining us tonight. Axel, we're gonna start things off with you. A simple question to kind of get everybody warmed up and get more people lining. We're already up to 114 people here. So let's get into what games are you playing, and or shows or movies are you watching?
So I have been playing. Well, I hooked up my Saturn the other day, and I was playing Virtual Cop. I hooked it up on the floor and everything. Good old school style. I had to go full old school. And then I've been playing a lot of Flight Simulator, getting ready for that because that one is. I'm really looking forward to Flight Simulator 2024. And I've also been playing Starfield as I'm getting ready for the expansion. So yeah, I have just been getting ready for the new games coming in by playing the games that are coming out. Yeah, that's it for me so far.
Very cool. It's awesome. Thank you, Spartan. Hit that like button. As it was. Oh, wait, we'll even do it even one better. As Dirt would say, right? Right, here we go.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
Love it. It'd be so great.
Goodness. Silent, Cypher, same question goes to you, buddy. What games are you playing? Shows or TV movies are you watching?
God, well, I've kind of been off for a little while between sickness and all that fun jazz. So I've actually caught up on a lot of things. Been playing quite a bit of Cyberpunk 2077 because I never ended up going back to that after they did all of their revision and their upgrades and stuff. So I've been playing a bunch of that. I did jump into Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill Slaps and Beans. If you've ever heard of that one, terrible video game. I strongly recommend against purchasing that video game. And somehow it just got a sequel. But whatever the case is, it had all the promises that I figured would be amazing. It was a side-scrolling beat 'em up type of thing. I figured it'd be great as co-op. Not so much. Apparently, there's like a huge fan following between Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill. I've never heard of him previously. It's a thing, I guess, whatever. So I'm happy for those folks. Besides that, I've been playing quite a bit of the Crew Motorfest They had a really good deal on that here over the last week. They actually had a really good deal on Crew 2 also. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but it was 99 cents for the Crew 2, which is a killer deal. That actually spurred me to go into Motorfest, because as I started playing, I was like, this is cool, but I want to see like what you've done recently. And I discovered that Motorfest was like $17. So it's easily in the impulse buy purchase realm. So played some of that. I started.
That was down to like $1 on Steam, wasn't it?
Might have been. I know
Yeah.
Crew 2 was $1. I don't know.
Yeah,
about
maybe that's it.
Motorfest.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
It's freaking killer. I mean, even for 17 on Motorfest, it's literally, when you jump into that game,
Cool.
it feels very much like Horizon.
I'm just laughing at why so serious. Concord is also on sale for $1.
Sweet. Yeah. Dude, you know, people are going crazy over physical copies of that game. They're like, oh, I'll buy it and I'll make a bunch of money. I'm just like, I don't know if that's going to work out for you, but sure, we'll go with it.
Good luck with that.
But yeah, besides that, I've also been playing. I started Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. I have played a bit of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I jumped back into Balatro. I don't know if you've ever played that one. You guys familiar with that one at all?
That's the card game, right?
Yes.
Electro? Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I want to.
I got turned on to that one by John Clark from Xbox Era. He mentioned it on one of his shows, and I was just like, I've never heard of this. And I picked it up. I think it was like $17. Dude, that game is freaking awesome. It's like a roguelike.
Very highly rated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's very highly rated, yeah.
And it's really good. You know, it's one of those games.
I wouldn't
where,
be surprised if it's a gaudy nominee.
It wouldn't surprise me. Honestly, I think the thing that surprises me the most about that one is that it's made by a guy who has no interest in that type of format. Like, from what I understand, he basically doesn't care at all about that type of game style. But he made this thing that blew up. Like, ratings and everything, it's been really good. It's super cheap.
Yeah.
It's coming to mobile, I think, here on Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
It's one of those,
Maybe
like, what
Thursday.
was it, Flappy Bird situations where they just, like,
good for them, right?
Blew up.
Yeah, man. Like, he threw something out there into the ether. It picked up with people. People love it, and good on him. Like, I'm stoked for him. It's cool. I'm really
Unlike some
excited.
companies that want to make a Star Wars but didn't sell anything.
folks that try and compare their complete flop to a Star Wars good God. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that, of course.
Oh, we will.
My God. Yeah, that's talk about a swing and a miss. Yeah. But yeah, that's about what I've been playing. As far as what I've been watching and stuff, I did watch a really bad C movie last week for Fuzzy Belvedere and his wife's podcast, their horror movie podcast. We watched a movie called Underground, which, if you've never seen it, it's terrible, but it's worth a watch just because it's the film editing and all that stuff. Like, it's not bad, but the casting, like script, everything is pretty rough. But it's worth watching because it's an interesting premise. So yeah, I watched that. I've watched a few more horror movies with the kids recently. We ended up watching, Office Uprising. I watched that one with my son. It's got Zachary Levi from Shazam, and he's like one of the main bad guys in it. It was an interesting one. It was the idea that, like, a military arms dealer ended up releasing an energy drink that it turns out, like, turned everyone into rage-fueled zombies, essentially. It's weird, but it's fun to watch. It's an interesting watch. Yeah, besides that, I've been just watching a lot of really low budget stuff recently. I feel like a lot of that stuff's been referred to me, and it's been fun.
There you go. Very good. Very cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, welcome, Boss Mon, Lethal Papa, and a lot of great members of the chat here. We got over 150 people here watching us on YouTube and on X. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you very much. And let's see. Where do we want to start, Hargeet? Do you want to start with the video you sent?
Sure.
So we might as well start off of there, and then we'll get a little messy. Just kidding.
Well, what have you played, WebDave?
I've actually been playing the Plucky, whatever it's called.
Lucky Squire.
Plucky Squire. That's it. Been
Yeah.
playing.
What do you think?
That's good. It's a lot of fun. I was kind of surprised about all the little, I guess, little mini game tie-ins that it has when you go through things. Those are kind of cool. So yeah, I haven't played very much of it yet, but it's fun. That's kind of what I've been messing with. Doing a lot of moving around here at the house, trying to get some things organized. Actually, trying to get the house in shape for Halloween. Whew, that's the big holiday here. So as crazy as that sounds, it's going to be really good. But yeah, let me pull this up here. Let's see. Present. You'd think I'd be an old pro at this by now. Nope. Not at all. Let's see.
I guess before we do that, let's just do this super chat while we're at it.
Yes, good idea.
Cullen Prime, member for 6 months. Hello, panel and chat. Well, hello to you as well.
Hello. Let's see. That's the one we want first look. All right.
That video looks official.
It's very interesting. So basically, I guess the premise is that she took the stats that were leaked online from different manufacturers of accessories for the product. So they would have, they have to have the exact measurements so that the accessories they build for it or whatever make are right. And so she went in, she 3D printed her own and starts doing comparisons and talkabouts and explaining different things on it. So it's kind of cool. It's all in Japanese. So be ready for that, guys.
Chinese, I think. But
Chinese. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. I'll understand about 10%.
Cool. Well, if
There you
you
go.
understand any of it, that's great. Luckily it does have subtitles, closed captioning, as it were, and plus Hargeet, we're gonna basically be talking over. But I will have it. I will definitely have the volume up a little bit. So,
yeah.
all right. So here we go.
这是 Nintendo Switch， 这是 Nintendo Switch 2的1:1真机模型，是我根据泄露出来的模型自己3D 打印的，完全再现真机的大小、厚薄、插口、布局。这台最受期待的任天堂混合主机，在大家的反复逼问、任天堂的反复闪躲、各种传闻、各种狼来了好几年之后，我们终于见到了它的真容。不只是外在，我还整理了 Switch 2的所有爆料，所有可信度非常的高。之所以这么自信，是因为我其实也持有这个模型文件有一段时间了，但是我可不敢爆料，直到昨天有其他人爆料了，那我们就可以说到了。Switch 2的所有性能、特性、发售日、兼容性，很多升级点都太让人兴奋了。说实话，我光是拿着这个3D 打印的模型，我都兴奋到爆炸。所以，如果你迫不及待的想要了解 Switch 2，那这个视频就能够全
It
部。
gives a comparison here in a little bit too, though. A bunch of different.
Yep. You'll get a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. It's a
对
good
对
video.
对 Start talking
任
over.
天
Is
堂
that
这
too
次
loud
真
or
的
is that
采
good?
取了最保险的设计思路。
That's
如果
good, I
一个
think.
设计没有问题
Yeah,
那
seemed
就不
pretty
要
good.
瞎改。二代的整个造型就像是
Wow.
Switch OLED 的
You see the difference, right? Yeah.
大
Big
机
difference,
身比
yeah.
Switch OLED 正面大了一圈，简直是太大了。而厚度几乎没有什么变化，整体感觉还挺薄的。熟悉的分体 Joy-Con 向下的扬声器和背后的支架设计都和 Switch OLED 没有差别。散热出风口在上方，进气口在下方。哦，对了，新
No need
Switch
to
采用了
mess with
双风扇
perfection.
设计，应该是更强的芯片，发热更大。四周的接口有了一些有趣的变化，首先就是 Type-C 口多了一个。在顶部
Type-C，
但我们
okay.
熟悉的 Switch
Yeah,
的 C
Type-C
口
on
其实
top
除了
too.
充电和
That's
接到
yeah,
没有其他用
yeah.
了。这新增的第2个 C 口其实有一个神奇的功能，我们一会儿再说。
Wait.
然后就是卡带插
On
槽，
top
虽然
and
我
bottom?
这个模型这里是
Yeah.
打不开的，但
Yeah. So basically, one like normal for the dock, and then one on top for people that like to, I guess, if you put it in the.
Oh, she talks about what might be plugging in. I think
Oh,
the
okay,
new gimmick
okay.
that will
Yeah,
be
there
coming
could-
with this one.
That's
Could
right.
be a
New
new
VR
gimmick,
glasses.
Okay.
and
Okay.
and also the stand. If you just set it down with a stand like portable, that you'd be able to still charge
How
it.
much you want to bet that's Type C extra port is going to be like
I
the
got
old
you.
Game Boy, Link, multiplayer Link.
It'd be hilarious.
And she's pointing to, by the way, the cartridge slot, so it's going to have backwards compatibility
Yes.
with current
Yes.
cartridges.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and we'll keep going.
但是我可以确认
Anytime
Switch
you need
2
to pause,
是可
just
以
tell me.
兼容 Switch 1的卡带和游戏的。然后我们来说屏幕，机身大了这么多，就是为了来装下这个更大的屏幕。Switch 2的屏幕会从 Switch OLED 的7英寸扩大到8英寸，非常大，这将会是市面上屏幕最大的主流掌机，分辨率也会变成 1080p。终于啊！8英寸是什么概念？大家心目中的大块头 Steam Deck， 它的屏幕
That's what
其实也
she
只有7.4 英
All night
寸
long.
，8英寸是 PS Portal 的大小了，而且屏幕的边框非常窄，屏占比很高，非常现代。我这个感受不明显，是因为我这个膜它贴小了。总之，这次任天堂是不想再因为这个能停飞机的大边框而被吐槽了。Switch 2的这块屏幕到了开卖的时候，可以说它的尺寸分辨率将会是市面上最好的，没有想到吧？但可惜首发还是只有 LCD 没有 OLED， 难不成还想再卖一次升级版？接下来我们来看 Joy-Con， 新款的 Joy-Con 跟着屏幕一起变长
See
了，
the
这
difference
也是
there?
2代外观变化最大的一。
Yeah.
Surprises
Much,
me
much
that it's
nicer.
it surprises me that it's only an inch difference in the screen, yet there's that much of a difference with the Joy-Cons.
Yes.
Yep.
新的 Joy-Con 整个线条都要更加锐利一些，正面有一些向下过渡的弧线，侧面也是有一些倾斜的弧度，不再是原来那样横平竖直的了。Joy-Con 的连接方式从原来的滑轨锁扣固定，变成了从侧面直接插进去，然后通过
I
电
do
磁
like your
吸
little
固定。看来以
representation
后
of
经
logo
典的
right
咔
here.
哒动画要变成这
Wait.
样。这个拆装方式听起来非常神奇，不知道实际效果怎么样。我想应该可以解决上一代用久了容易滑轨松脱的问题。新 Joy-Con 摇杆和主要按钮都有变大，然后就是拆开以后的 SL 和 SR， 看图片呢也是在的。我自己打印的比较粗糙，这两个按键被我吃掉了。在 Joy-Con 背部的这个位置，原本放
Yeah, one thing she mentions here, which other people have talked about too, is the original Joy-Cons have a release button for the slide up the rails.
Yes.
She talks about
Right.
the other button that's on there that could be like an extra button, but some people are speculating that because they're magnetized, that when you push that button in, it removes the magnets away and enables you to pull the controllers out easily. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah, like
There could be
pull them back a
electromagnets.
smidge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's
两个用来
yeah, she'll
弹
show
出
it here in a
Joy-Con 小
second.
按钮，现在呢变成了非常正式的这么大的两个按钮。这个按钮是完全新增的，可以食指向内按。但是呢，
Oh, yeah,
因为它
that
上
is
面
a new
什么
button.
字儿都没有写，
Okay,
所以这
sure.
两个按钮到底有什么功能，现在还是不知道的。除了原本的截图和 Home 键，右边 Joy-Con 还多了一个写着 C 字母的方形小按键。下
It
载一
has
下
an extra button.
Custom Capture， 难道是 Camera？ 还记得刚刚我说的那个不知道要干嘛的顶上 Type C 口吗？它其实是用来接外置摄像头的。推理一
Do you
下，
think it
这
could
次
connect
任
to
天
an
堂要
external
在 Switch 2
camera?
上大力加强体感，我基本确定 Switch 2 Joy-Con 的体感精度会大大的提升。具体的做法，我猜会是在 Joy-Con 的滑轨上增加一些传感器，再配合外置的摄像头来在线媲美 Wii 效果的体感，非常让人期待。说完了外在，该开机了。我倒是想啊。开机之前，我们来聊一聊对实际体验影响最大的性能。这一次的 Switch 2性能要厉害了，它将直接对标上世代的 PS4 和 Xbox One， 甚至有可能更强，至少是现在 Switch 性能的2到3倍，是真的可以运行传统3A 游戏了。一代 Switch 使用的是英伟达的 Tegra X1 给电视盒子做的芯片 ，GPU 架构对标的是900系的英伟达显卡。刚推出的时候其实还可以，比 Wii U 强，但是7年没变，实在是顶不住了。二代的 Switch 会使用英伟达的 T239 芯片，是用给汽车做的芯片改的，从电视盒子进化到汽车了。先别急着嘲笑，这块芯片真的还挺强的。GPU 架构和30系显卡相同，采用三星8纳米制程，直接跨了4代英伟达显卡，1536。
Yeah.
So it's going to be a 3000 series level of performance. Now,
Speculate.
at what level we don't know, right? Because it's not like it's
Yeah.
going to be like a 3080 or some shit.
No,
But-
no.
8 nanometer processing
But-
core. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But the
Yeah.
technology part of it, as far as what its capabilities are, it's going to be at the 30 level.
3060 coming up. Yeah,
Maybe.
3060 is good, man. That's what I got going
Yeah.
on.
I like the onboard.
I-
if that's
It does great at
memory
1080.
good.
Yeah, and I think that's we talked about that a little bit on our show this Wednesday. Is like I don't see them trying to gun for anything past 1080. I think they're going to lock in 1080 at a good frame rate, and I think that's where they're going to keep it because on a portable that makes the most sense. You don't see that much.
But
of
when
a
you're
difference
docked,
on
they're
that
probably
screen.
going to give you more, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'd be curious if that's what we're going to see.
I mean, they're giving you a 2.1 port.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I don't know.
We'll see.
16GB 固态硬盘，更快的硬盘有可能会配合 T239里的数据压缩芯片，实现 PS5 一样的无读盘效果。传送不需要读盘的旷日之息，想想就爽啊！从此江湖上再无掉帧森林的传说。而且英伟达的芯片也会让 Switch 2拥有 DLSS 一样的 AI 放大能力，从而实现
DLSS would be
4K 的
nice.
游戏画面数据。配合这个新的 dock 也会支持 HDMI 2.1。我刚刚说的这些配置都比去年刚出的 Steam Deck OLED 要强，甚至可能比今年刚出的最强无影掌机 ROG Ally X 还强，实在是太强了。我没有想到有一天聊任天堂的硬件还会有报参数的环节，而且还能让人报得这么兴奋。当然，这些只是 T239理论上的性能 ，Switch 2能发挥出来多少，还要看发热和续航的权衡。但是我相
So
信，
she kept saying
再加
something
上
about the
针
ROG
对它
Ally, but I
开小
couldn't
到
catch
优
it.
化
She's so
等到
fast.
Switch 2面世，它将会
It's going to be more
是市面
powerful
表
than a
现
ROG
最
Ally.
好的
That's what
掌
she's
机
saying.
没有之一。当然啦，不一定
Speculate
但是这么强的性能
Speculation
带来更
If it
高
can't
的
run Windows, it's not more powerful.
现在我们来聊聊价格。
Windows takes all the RAM.
还有名字，其实 Switch 2
right.
很
Technically,
只
it
是一
could
个
run
内部
Windows,
代
right?
号，
But
就像大家当时都以为
Could.
Switch 叫做 NX 一样，所以名字呢只能够瞎猜了。我倒是觉得就叫 Switch 2也挺好的。
I hope they call it
简单
Switch
直接
2 because if they
不
call
过
it
一
like the
任天堂
Switch
了解
Pro or
它
something
一
like
定会
that,
在
it's not
前
going
面
to sell.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe they'll call it the Switch Wii 2.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Just kidding.
If they call it the Switch
Wii
U,
U too?
oh my god.
Wii U too?
She makes fun of that one.
Oh, does she?
Funny.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
整一些幺蛾子出来。我个人呢是比较希望会取一些像 Super Switch 这样有趣可爱的名字的，只要它不叫 Switch U 都可以。毕竟之前的 Wii U 就是因为
Super
太小了
Switch
谁也不认识
Super
被
Switch
告死的。然后是发售时间
Super Switch
，I really
最
think
近
Switch 2,
的
giving it that
后
number
续
is
机
what's
会
gonna
在
make
明年
people get
4
on
月
it.
之
'cause
前
Simpler,
发售
isn't it?
但时间点呢，
Just
我不是非
It
常
makes
确定，
people know
但
that
是
it's
它
the
现在的
next
生
gen.
产进度估计是八九不离十的。据说啊，这个时间是受到了 PS5 Pro 公布的刺激，所以呢提前了一些，我觉得也挺合理的，顺便还能够避开 GTA 6。如果用这个时间点往前倒推的话，那么下个月的任天堂直面会就会公布 Switch 2
Yeah, they're
了。
supposed
至于
to
价
be
格
direct
应该是
maybe
所
before
有
the
爆
end
料
of
里
this
可
month.
信度最低
Still
的。
got
这
some
是任天
time
堂
left.
保密工作做的最好的部分。我呢是听到了一些匪
With
夷
the
所
Tokyo
思的
Game
传
Show
闻，
coming
大
up,
家
who
听听就
knows?
好了，不要当真。最广泛的
This
说
next
法
month, I
是
think they're
起
gonna
步
announce
价
it.
400 美
$400
元，比 OLED 版
Yeah,
贵
I'll
了
take it.
50美元，但是对标 Steam Deck OLED
Yep.
或者其他 PC 掌机都要550美元以上。Switch 2
I wouldn't be
更
surprised
小
if
它
it's
更
more
便宜。
expensive,
难道
but
任天堂
I'm
真的
definitely
是
under
菩
5.
萨心肠？虽然我
No.
猜不出定价，但有一点我可以肯定，就是任
I
天堂
almost
绝
thought
对
it
不
would
会
be fine
亏
for
钱
sure.
卖硬件，所以即使定价可以低到
$499
400美
yeah.
元，肯定也
Yeah.
藏了一个巨大的但是，比如推出2个型号啊
No，，
一个
that's
便
marketing
宜弱一点，
scheme，
一
you
个
know-
强
you
大
know
贵一点。好了，以上这些基本上就是我们对 Switch 2能有的全部了解了。再多说的话，估计任天堂会派忍者来找我了。
Well, there we go. So, yeah.
Oh, did you catch that last part, man? Yeah. Apparently, joystick drift is included on the Switch too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I believe they would probably
Oh,
eliminate that.
God.
Oh
Nope.
man.
Thoughts? What do you guys think?
I'm buying it
Oh, yeah.
day one, no doubt.
Yep. Pre-ordering it day one, of course.
I love my Switch. Got it right there.
Yep.
Love it.
Shot
wait.
Brothers produces.
I'll wait until I can get a used one.
Adele,
A
that's
used one with joystick
Yep.
drift.
I mean, you're probably.
I'll
Are you
grab
going to
some
run it
Joy-Cons.
portable or are you going to have it docked?
Me?
No, silence.
Probably docked.
Docked, right? Then I wouldn't recommend using the Joy-Cons anyways. Just get the
Yeah.
Pro controller.
Yeah.
Right. So,
No,
and
that's
it could be that it's still compatible with the current Pro controllers. We don't know yet, but
I see. My guess is probably not, because with the 1 inch difference, like it's going to be enough that it's going to cause an issue with the rails and with how it connects on the
Mhm.
system. So I
the
kind
Pro
of
controller is its own controller.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yes, with the Pro controller, yes, I could see that because that's the same connection, I'm sure.
It's just wireless.
Yeah, I'm trying to think trying to think. There was something that came up when we were watching the video that kind of like jumped out at me, but I'd be curious, like if it lands at those at that performance level that they're stating. I'd be curious about that. I think that's probably the only thing that I'm a little bit a little bit curious on, like if it'll actually match that. But it does seem like from the previous releases and some of the leaks that we've seen, they were kind of rating that it was going to be between like PS4 and Xbox One Series S, or sorry, Xbox Series S scale as far as the performance. I don't know. I just keep thinking like I don't see it being that much of a jump forward. I think that's the only thing is like I don't think Nintendo really cares that much about making it a substantial jump forward, because what they've released right now, I mean, they're close to 150 million units at this point. So there's really not a lot of desire or reason for them to push forward, because we already know that about half of the install base is going to stay back on the previous hardware, given the other numbers that we've seen recently for like PlayStation and Xbox. And so I'm just curious, like I would imagine this is going to be more of an iterative thing. It's not going to be an advancement, I think is the biggest thing for me. I don't think they're going to shoot for the moon as far as the specs or anything. I think they'll just keep it pretty attainable, I think is the biggest thing. Like not huge resolution. They'll lock in the frame rate for sure, but I don't think they're going to go wild with it. And from what we're seeing with this design, it doesn't seem like they're going to go wild with it, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's going to be a Series X or a PS5, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if they're compared it to a 3060, 3060s are sub 300 now, right? Most of them are right. If you buy it at the right time,
I think is twice as many shading units, right? So just to put that in perspective,
a 3060 is running at sub 300. So you add all the Nintendo stuff, all the proprietary larger screen. I'm looking at I'm thinking $450, $500 for the console. And you know, if you put an OLED on there, they can probably sell a $600 OLED model. Just being honest. But I'm really looking forward to the Switch 2. You know, I love my Switch. I think it's the fact that that it's so convenient that I could just literally pull my Switch up mid-game and keep playing it is underrated. And the fact that it's the best travel way to play is also great. And, you know, but all those little features aside, you know, what makes a console is the games, and the Switch has the games. If you know, that's why I think right now the Switch is the better of all the consoles, because it has the games. Because Nintendo has never given up on their laurels of gaming fun first. You know, everybody is looking at microtransactions this, microtransactions that, but Nintendo has kept the fun. I mean, their number one selling game on the Switch is still Mario Kart 8 from the Wii U. So, and you know, if you're a huge Zelda fan like I am, all the Zelda games on the Switch have been fun.
Right.
So I think it's going to be great. I think the extra 1-inch screen size will be great if it goes bevel to bevel, you know, with a little bit of screen. Right now, the Switch has a thicker bevel, the OG Switch. I don't know about the OLED, as I don't have one. I saw no reason to upgrade. But if it goes bevel as close to bevel as possible, I think it's going to be great. What can that extra, you know, the magnetic Joy-Cons is going to be nice too, because, you know, that sliding thing, it's kind of a pain in the butt, and kids can put that on upside down, as I have seen that personally.
Yep.
Put them on upside down, and then you take it off and it's broken forever. And there you go, off to the store to buy new Joy-Cons, right?
I do wonder with those with those buttons on the Joy-Cons. I do wonder though, because like they were making it sound like that was the new eject, right, for those Joy-Cons.
Could be something else.
It seemed, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's more substantial. The button's not.
We'll find out, right?
I mean, maybe the idea, because I don't know about you guys, but when I use those other buttons, to eject the controllers, it wasn't always super easy to jam your finger into that small button. So maybe the idea is functionality and accessibility for people, right? Like it's easier for you to click that trigger like type of button instead. Maybe that's what it is, and that's all it is. But I wonder if maybe there's more to it. I don't know. Because if you have the magnetic, then why? If you have the magnetic, you don't necessarily need a button per se, unless there's an actual physical mechanism in the actual system or in the controller that locks it into place unless you click that button and it removes it. If it's magnetic, you shouldn't even need that. But I guess we'll see.
Yep.
Maybe you want it to lock though, because if you're playing, right, you might accidentally pull them off because you're like just torsioning.
Right.
And that could be the case. Yeah.
So just for performance levels, I'm just gonna try to guesstimate. These are guesstimates, right? If I take like the 3060, which is like the low end of the 30 cards, that has 3,500-ish compute units, that's 15. I think it was 1576, 1536, something like that, right? So it's not quite the level, obviously, of the 3060. The 3060 is a 12-ish, 12.5 T-flop. So this is probably going to range in the 4, 5, maybe a little higher if it was at the same clock rate. I'm going to guess they're going to clock it down to keep the battery humming.
Yeah,
but then the question is, can you clock it back up when you're docked? Right. And so I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm trying to give you the idea of what it's like. Now, the ROG Ally for memory speed is 6,400 MTs. This is 7,500 MTs. So it's actually higher. And the ROG is it's an 8.6 theoretical, but it's using the nice little AMD dual execution thing for certain operations to get to that 8.6. It's really a 4.3. So it's actually, it could technically be more powerful than a ROG Ally. So it does have that potential. We will see, right? So if it's in that range, just think of all the stuff you can do with a ROG, and it's a pretty impressive kit. If they can get the power balance right and say, we're going to cut back, use DLSS to give you reasonable 1080 performance undocked, but when you're docked, we're going to unlock it and you can get the full, capability there, and say bump it up to 5.5, 6 T-flops. That's really good. At an RTX 30 level, that's going to be pretty good. Now, obviously, this is not going to compete at the level of the PS5 Pro or something like that, or any of the new cards that are coming out from NVIDIA and or AMD. Fair enough, right? But it's going to give you a pretty damn good console experience, especially at the mid-range price. And I think that's why it's going to be 400. I don't think it's going to be higher than that. I think they're targeting that chip to be at that cost level.
If it's 400, I'm even more happy because I'm definitely adding that to my Christmas list. If I don't buy it day one, I'm getting it by Christmas. Just saying.
Right, and then consider that with that level of performance, and they hired somebody, I want to say from Sony, I think, to work on third-party relationship, right, to make those third parties come over. And I want to say it's from Sony, but I can't remember where it's from. But anyways, but they hired somebody to actually specifically work on getting those third-party games. I think they're going to be able to run everything. If the ROG can run everything, right? And if this thing's higher than the ROG, it's reasonable to assume that third parties can target this thing and get their games on it. And if that's the case, and if it reasonably does as close to a normal Nintendo does, it should be really good, right? As a platform, just as do you expect it to do worse than say the Xbox? And the Xbox, all the third parties seem to want to go there pretty much, right? So I would think they're probably going to outdo the Xbox in a year and a half, 2 years, with just the normal enthusiasm of Nintendo fans, right? So that's just the way. So I'm just thinking that third parties are going to latch on. I think they're going to go on to this thing, and you're going to see a massive launch lineup.
And just the install base alone, right? Because when you're talking lifetime of 150 or somewhere around there million, something like that versus Xbox versus PlayStation, third parties, it's always been interesting with me. I mean, obviously with Wii U time frame, that was a different beast, right? They shit the bed. It was what it was. especially coming off of the success of the Wii. But you look at something like this, and with how high their sales have been for lifetime, third parties, like, it always boggles my mind when they don't shift more over to Nintendo. Like, I know the hardware is kind of a restriction in ways, for sure, but in the past we've seen plenty of generations where games modified or created like a console specific version. Like, you look at the Switch version of games, they had different Call of Duties for the Switch because they realized, like, this has a huge install base. We can still sell games here. Something at 150, especially when the PS2, that was their thing, right? And Nintendo's trying to attack their lifetime sales at this point. Like, for a Nintendo product to have that huge of an install base, it only makes sense for third parties to flock to them if they have a dev that's capable to make it work on the system.
Sorry. Go ahead and
sweet
read what Bert said.
Yeah.
My prediction is the Nintendo Switch 2 will sell more than Concord.
Yes.
Jeez.
No, you know what?
My niece's
I'm
Girl
pretty-
Scout cookies sold more than Concord. That's right. I
I'm
said
pretty
it.
sure that Ouya sold more than Concord. Sweet Jesus.
Jeez.
Embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
Now, the Switch 2, I think, is going to be a seller for sure. I'm definitely buying it. It needs a launch game for sure. If it has that launch lineup,
Oh,
who
it's
knows what
going to have a
gonna be.
bunch. I think the
Okay.
dual, Mario Kart, Mario 3D, they're coming. And then they are due for so many games.
Star Fox.
Like Smash,
Yeah.
Star Fox. There's so
here-
many. Metroid Prime 4 is supposedly coming this year, right?
Yes.
Do we have a release on that?
So that's what Plume
nice.
actually- oh, sweet Jesus.
Yes. Which, by the way,
Oh.
this is a good deal because, like, you could use those
That's
Blu-ray
$1 for a
cases.
coaster. $1 per
You
coaster.
could use them as a coaster.
No,
Dude, they're
you could
cheaper
use
than
those
custom
Blu-ray cases. That's
Yeah.
cheaper than buying the Blu-ray cases.
It is. It is. No,
Wow.
it truly is. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy
Um,
them those cases and reuse them.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And then you could use the disc as a decoration.
you could put it on your Christmas tree as a shiny ornament for your cat to attack. I'm
Oh,
sure.
precious.
You mentioned Metroid Prime 4, which Plume, I will give credit to him. He mentioned it on our show this Wednesday. He mentioned that he thought that might be one of the launch titles for this Switch too. I keep feeling like Metroid Prime 4 has kind of fallen into this just abyss. But we did just recently get a trailer for it, so like potentially
we got a gameplay
it could
trailer for it. It
happen,
looked good.
right?
It
Yeah.
looked good, and
Yeah.
it looked at Switch level. And I'm hoping that there's a Switch 2 level that gets unlocked.
Oh man, what if
Right.
Mortal Kombat 11 on
Well,
the,
yeah,
I don't
'cause-
know if you've seen Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch.
Oh,
For the Switch
yeah.
2, there's a
Yeah.
like you can just insert that backwards compatible Mortal Kombat 11
Yep.
cart and it upgrades it to normal Mortal Kombat 11.
And by
that'd
the way,
be
the
something.
storage is 2.1 gigabytes per second, so it's right in line with sort of where Xbox is at 2.4.
Right?
So it looks really good, man. It looks really good. The only downside is 256 gigs, which I think will get eaten up really, really, really fast.
Mhm.
I wish they had
extremely
more.
fast. Holy crap.
And I don't know if there is an expansion capability, right? Because these that level, it's hard to expand. So Xbox's solution was to create the expansion card.
Yeah.
PlayStation said, "Hey, open it up and put in an NVMe." I don't know what their solution is going to be. I don't know if they would have like multiple SKUs. I'd be happy with that. Give me a $500 SKU that has a terabyte. I'd be happy with that.
I get the idea, like, again, if we dial it back a little bit, if we factor that these things are primarily going to be played as like a 1080p, for example, right? You're talking about lower sizes in general. So 256, obviously, it goes farther, but 256 is still not that much at this
It's
point in
not,
time.
especially if you're going to play
Even-
COD.
No. Well, and even in Xbox 360 gen, like, yes, you had games that were around a 7.5 gig average, but you had ones that went quite a bit higher than that too. 256 just doesn't go that far, especially because the the system. Granted, they're not using something that's a space hog like Windows, but you're still going to have
No, that's separate. They have a 64 gig separate
oh,
memory
okay.
for the OS.
Okay.
So OS
Okay,
and
so that's
saves, that'll be
better.
this is just for games.
Okay.
But it's still a lot, right? So if you take the 512 gig, you got 3 and change, 310, 20, whatever it was.
384, I think.
380, like,
primary.
okay, so you had that much to install your games, right? So this is shy of that, 100 shy of that. Could you install most of the games? Because yeah, the Series S versions are lower space because they don't need the higher end textures, so they are lower space. Yeah. Like if you get Call of Duty though, I think that's gonna eat it. That's gonna take the whole bloody
No,
thing.
if it doesn't take at least half, it's gonna take more than that for sure. And you know, that's the thing, right? Is like we've seen a lot of tech where they can reduce it down, but even then, you're still talking it's probably a third to a half of your space on its own.
I don't
just
know
a single
where I
game.
saw it, but it might have been here. I think they have a compression decompression engine built in as well.
Sure.
And so just like the other guys do, so there will be some savings. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting like that space management headache. Because now the games are going to be pretty big. The third-party games will be big. It is what it is, right?
Everything is.
So
especially as we go further in these generations, and people are using different type of mappings for the resolutions and the images and everything. Like it's going
it'll be interesting to see.
It's going to take more and more space as time goes. I'll be curious.
Yeah.
That's where I think like if they focus on something like a 1080p. Or at max, maybe a 1440p.
Yeah,
when
you're not going to look for those higher end textures. Anything that's above the 1080, it's always going to be DLSS. DLSS is what's going to get above that, and they have the tech. DLSS is really good, so it may not get you the 40 level stuff, right? Because it's saying it's RTX 30. It's not going to get you the 40 level stuff, but still, it's going to be really, really good. So yeah, we'll see. And technically, you could do some RT work here, so that means UE5 should be able to do its stuff. We'll see how well it works, though, right?
UE5 should be there to bog it down 100%.
Right? It's not easy to handle.
I want to see where they land as far as frame rates, because a lot of the stuff that we see currently on the current Switch, you see a lot of stuff that drops into single or like in the teens.
Yeah,
and so
I think it's going to be 30 for a lot of those kind of games, right?
See,
it's just the way it is.
But in a situation like that, with the hardware that's provided, with the form factor that's provided, if you can lock in 30 frames per second, it's a win.
It'll feel okay, right? Yeah,
because most of the people that are already in that ecosystem, they don't care if it's at 30. That's ideal for them because it's better than most of what they've gotten for the last couple of years. But
so we'll see. And I think some of their games they do unbelievable work. Think about how crappy that processor is that they're running on right now with the Switch, and you still get really good looking Mario games and Zelda games, and that's them like optimizing the crap out of it. I can just imagine what they're going to do on something that actually have some power, right? Let's see what they pull off. It hopefully will look really good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a different subject. I also do want to welcome out Dirt Griggity. It's in the chat. Welcome out the one and only Dirt Griggity.
If you like this video, please hit the like button.
So Dirt.
Dirt. And of course,
have you stopped pony boating, Dirt?
No, not to
still
be
interested in that 30th anniversary.
We all pony bot a little bit. It happens.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Too funny. Oh
my God! Do you see why so serious? What he put on there?
You know what he said?
He said, "I'll take coal over Concord for Christmas."
You can use coal for something useful.
Yeah.
What are you gonna use?
You could use coal for something useful, or you could at least sell it. Like you could resell it for a value. At least it has a purpose.
Use coal for freaking barbecue, right? You can throw it in the freaking barbecue.
Yeah,
I can't give Concord for Valentine's Day, man. That's a breakup. Where did it happen? Right there.
I can't throw a Blu-ray Concord into my smoker and have more fuel time. So it's not worth it to me.
Coal can heat your house. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right, we got a super chat.
So Ripsala, $2. Will Switch be BC? Yes, it will be backwards compatible. Hoping physical and digital. Yes, both. So that is apparently right. We can't guarantee that, but it looks like
Allegedly.
yes, it will be both.
Rumors and
Yes.
speculations are that is the
Yes.
case.
Yes.
And it makes
Which
sense.
honestly is kind of shocking. It does make sense to most of us, but it's kind of shocking because it's against Nintendo's trends of charging you
well-
over and over again for the same thing.
No, wasn't the Game Boys were backwards
Recently-
compatible? The Game Boy with the Game Boy Advance,
a lot
and
of
the
their-
DS and
Yes,
the DS.
but
on the portables. Yep.
Yeah.
But in
And then the
regards to stuff
GameCube
like
and
the
Wii?
digital, in regards to like the digital format, like the
Oh
Wii
well,
to
yeah.
Wii
They
U
keep
and stuff
changing the
like that.
store.
Yeah,
I think
you're-
they're now unifying the store because they
Yeah.
have to,
Which is
just
good.
like of
They
the way they
need
have
it
the
to.
structure, which is good. Yeah, exactly. And I hope it continues the trend of, hey, if you pay for online, you get all the backwards compatible games. It just comes with it.
Well, yeah,
that would be kind of cool.
it's only fair to the consumers. Like they've bought these games so many times as it is. Like it's only fair to kind of be a little bit reasonable with them. Buying everything over and over again sucks.
Yeah, it does. And the whole thing is you build your library up. So there we go. Let's see.
Yep.
Trying to send you a message on Twitter, but it's not going through it. Oh, that's weird. Let me.
Yeah, Twitter's
what I
been
can-
acting up lately. It says it's overloaded.
Oh my, people going crazy, huh?
hmm,
Too many video feeds, I guess.
Too many politics, probably. Just saying. Let's
Yeah,
see.
probably.
the,
Holy crap.
the owner,
I'm a life
the owner of
detective.
it spending too much time not focusing on the infrastructure.
There you go.
I don't know about that, man. It's like
He's
doubled
got
and tripled
rockets,
in
man,
users.
to worry about. Screw your Twitter.
It's crazy how much it's grown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
Flight Sim 2024, by the way, Abdel puts in that, hey, it's down to 30 gigs. Yeah, that's really, I don't know if people have seen all the info on it.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
looking really, really good.
Yeah,
Like the stuff it's
Mhm.
doing is crazy.
I cannot wait.
they're
Yeah.
innovating
cannot
quite
wait.
a bit in regards to the sizing of that.
Yeah,
and
this thing is insane.
especially with everything that's in there. Like it's yeah. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, no. I did a whole hour talk about it on Good Morning Xbox.
Which was really good
Yeah.
today, too, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
And it's up there now for everybody to watch. So please
That's
make
right.
sure you do that. Also, just that you couldn't send it to me, I just put my email in the chat for the show. So it's Outbreak Podcast at gmail.com. So you can definitely send me whatever you needed to send me.
Make sure to send
there.
all of those OnlyFans links
No.
and video.
Mhm.
No. So yeah. So,
So,
Spartan
Arnie,
61, you
your
can send it to me there.
question here, if MS would come up with a damn Mario Kart clone, they own one now because they
They
own
do.
Crash. And there's Crash
Yeah.
Team Racing, which has not yet made it to Game Pass. If you want to buy it, of course, you will. You go for it. At some point, it will go to Game Pass if you're a Game Pass customer. So, but you're welcome to check it out.
Yeah, we do have another super chat.
All right, G4, $2. Would you want Concord or Jury Duty?
Ooh,
Concord.
Jury
At
Duty.
least I can
All
ignore
day.
Concord.
I'd be okay if you made me clean the toilets as my jury duty instead of playing Concord. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn on this, but when I saw the hero shooter format that thing had, first off, the cutscene looked amazing. I'm convinced that's where they spent most of their budget, because I don't understand how the hell you get to 400 million on that.
Is
game.
that going to be a thing? Do we want to get into that now?
yeah,
Well,
we can go there. Let me.
Okay, you had one
yeah.
here on the Lena Khan thing, right? Lena Khan's term does end like right around now. Like it's actually technically over this coming week. However, unless they replace her, she technically gets to just stay there. So that's kind of where it is. So until there's a new administration, and it seems like either administration is likely to replace her with somebody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
She's going to be there till next year. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
She's not going to get confirmed. Like, in other words, if they said, "Hey, we're going to reintroduce Lena Khan," the Senate has said, "Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not going to reconfirm."
And go ahead.
And then so whoever else it is, right? So we will find out, right? It'll be next year. We'll find out. Until
Yeah.
then, she's there for a few months. Sorry, what was that?
And when it is, we definitely will we will talk about it here for sure because you know it's interesting, and I do have the soundbite. So yeah, so we're gonna have to use that when she's we talk about her again. But yeah, we did have the first poll, which was the Switch 2 will ... thanks to Dirt Griggity, and 88% said it would sail, and 11% of you said it would fail out of 109 votes on YouTube.
Dude,
well, it's not for everybody, that's for sure.
With how high a percent of the adoption rate that the Sony product, or sorry, Nintendo product has, God, sorry, stroke, my bad. With Nintendo having that high of an adoption rate for their systems in general, it's never gonna fail, right?
Yeah.
Like Nintendo fans like what they like. It is what it is. Like whether we get it or not, whether certain things make sense to us or not, they have tapped into a following. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. They listen. They sold you guys cardboard.
Yep,
and
Labo.
you spent full tilt.
I didn't
on
buy
cardboard. It's a
Don't make fun of my cardboard buying. It's recycling.
Dude, it's a different thing. It's a different thing. Like when I saw cardboard, I was like, dear God, you're selling people cardboard. God bless.
Yeah, but it worked.
And it's sold like crazy.
It worked.
It's just, it's
All of it
Nintendo.
worked.
It's sold better than Concord.
And it's
Everything-
recyclable.
Everything sold better than Concord.
I think it's sold better than PSVR 2. Ooh.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a whole different conversation.
All right. So Axel went to step away to get some water. He's going to be back in just a second. So we will give him a second to come back before we jump to the next subject. But we want to welcome out. We have over 275 people here, almost 300 people here watching us, either on X or on YouTube. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. More and more people piling in. We appreciate that. And I like this one. The PSVR sold at all? Yes, it did. It did sell, just not a lot. There we go.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? The original PSVR sold what, 6% total of the install base?
5%, something like that. Yeah, it wasn't.
So for anyone to assume that the PSVR 2 was suddenly going to have an insane install base, like, come on now.
Didn't they ask? Like, there's such an arrogance. Like, didn't they ask? Because look, I bought PSVR 1 and it turned me away from it. I'm like, I have no interest in PSVR 2. Like,
And
I did not use that thing at all. It was so annoying. Like, I don't care. I was like, go
here's
away.
the thing, right? Like the hardware for PSVR 2 is very capable. It's good for what it is. But they came in with that Sony arrogance of, we're going to charge
gonna
you
talk about
ridiculous amounts for this. And right off the bat, they got slapped right in the face for that arrogance. And I'm happy to see it happen to an extent. Like, I feel bad for anyone in dev studios that got punished because of this. But the Sony arrogance that we've seen has shifted back to what we saw in PS3 era, where it was like, oh, you can't afford our system? Well, go get a second job. Of which I say, like, screw you. Like, you can sit on it and spin. I'm not going to spend on your stuff if you're barely going to have any support, even from your first party studios. Like, it's insane.
Yep. Yeah. They didn't have the backwards compatibility as well. I thought shot it in the foot. They should have had that right out of the gate. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's move on. So let's get into one of our main topics. We got the two big ones, but this is one that I want to jump around a little bit on this. Just a full disclosure. I almost had it edited down, but it didn't. The audio didn't carry over for some reason. But Dirt Griggity put a really great video up about this, and he edited it down to like a nice 2-minute segment. So we haven't, unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to do that, or I'd love to, but if you get a chance, go to Dirt's channel and check it out. It's a really good video that he posted. Dirt puts out some fantastic stuff. One of the pillars of the community, as far as I'm concerned. as well as all the guys that are on the panel tonight. Love you guys. So, Hargey, we'll start this and we'll start and stop the different parts and points. And any guys, Axel and Silent, just any time you guys want to chime in, just you can talk over it. And then if you want me to pause it, just say pause it or whatever, and we'll kind of get into it. So of course the big thing is it's Concord, and a lot of people have talked about it. We will talk about it a little bit more, but it may be even more than what they're letting on. I can switch the background. There you go. Messy Hargey, that's okay. We'll let you. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy, but it's all right, like this one, 400 million down the pisser.
Yes, the big three: the pisser, the crapper, and the farter. I'm sorry.
It's a joke.
Fuck.
And it's not really old news. It's actually a 3-day-old story. But if you think it's old news, you can definitely go somewhere else and listen or not. But we're going to talk about it for a few minutes. So anyway, there you go. So this is the first time we've actually, since in the news cycle that it's been up. So we're gonna talk about it. Here we go.
I want to talk about Concord. I wasn't going to ever talk about this game again because who really gives a shit? However,
you guys did.
And I don't do journalism really anymore, as you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist at one time, and I used to break a lot of stories, and these days I don't really grind like that. So the stories that I break these days are usually always people coming to me. And someone who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively, for a long time. Ooh. And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. And I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
Oh my God.
And the story goes that Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it. And it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability, or a minimum viable product. Mm-hmm. The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is what you're trying to achieve. And it's once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable selling it. It's not that it's the best it can be, or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's all sorts of extra stuff you do to it. But this is the minimum viability of the product. When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in quarter one of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it. The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord is that the game was in a laughable shape when it was shown, and basically when the alpha was ready to go, and they were kind of being we're ready to kind of.
So yeah, so far,
yeah. I don't know, man. Concord looked good. Don't get me wrong. I feel that they did put the effort into Concord, but Hero Shooter Time is done.
No, the only time it looked good was when they showed the Jiggly Burger.
The only time that's because I was hungry.
Damn. Can we? We're not gonna mess things up for you if we swear on here, right, Dave?
No, you can fucking cuss all you want to.
Okay,
so
simply,
language, kids.
Simply, right? to Colin and his bullshit on a regular basis, fuck off. You're a faux intellectual that pretends like you care. And the only reason you're out here is for the engagement. I'm so tired of listening to his bullshit because he's literally sitting here sucking the dick so hard. I'm sorry, but it aggravates me when I watch him because I've never seen someone gagging so hard as they're talking.
Alrighty then. Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's one of those things where
it had
it's
to be graphic. Oh, there we go.
he does this over and over again, and it's frustrating because it's like there are plenty of people just be it politics, be it whatever, that listen to just one source on a regular basis. So I'm sure there are people that listen to him and just believe everything he says, and that's great. But he's out here making money off of you with engagement. That's all it is. And he does this over and over again. And it boggles my mind when you listen to some of the things that he says where he's like, I didn't even want to talk about this. Bullshit. You wanted to talk about this 100%. You wanted to talk about it as soon as it happened, because if it bleeds, it leads. And you knew you were going to make money off of this. Like, this is a disingenuous take from someone who's constantly shown who he is over and over again.
Yeah, I gotta go to the Collins School of Social Media. So no, I'm just kidding. I don't think I could be that fake. I don't have it in me. I'm sorry. Like,
it hurts. It hurts to watch because
But-
like I get it. If you're a big fan of a console system or ecosystem, that's cool. I get it. I enjoy Xbox personally as my preference. I've been on here for 20 plus years. I get it. But if you're fake about it and that's all you're doing, go away. We don't need it. Like, just enjoy your games, go play video games, and just leave us alone. Like, the three of them are the most disingenuous people I see on a regular basis on these videos.
I mean, competition is pretty stiff, but the fact that Concord cost $400 million, that's just crazy. And the fact that they thought it was going to be Star Wars-esque, I think was.
We haven't gotten to that piece yet.
Yeah,
Dude,
we'll get to that piece.
Unreal.
I listened to the whole thing.
Right,
And
but we'll get to that piece and we'll comment on that. But up to
Oh,
now,
well, yeah. And of course, we have the from the peanut gallery. Oh, welcome, Paris. Appreciate you
Paris,
jumping
do you
in.
have some knowledge to drop?
yeah,
You want to
and
jump on?
when you get to
Don't go to
something
these,
where
he's fine.
your boss, where you can't comment on it, whether it be do feedback positive or negative, real feedback and just honest feedback, it's gonna fail just flat out. I've gotten into huge spats with my boss over honesty, and sometimes he'll ignore it and sometimes he won't, and most of the time it's the right call, sometimes it's not, and you just gotta live with it. But unfortunately, in the world of video games, when you ignore your own people that are talking to you, that are supposed to be the subject matter experts, right? It's a recipe for disaster. If you ignore the people you hired specifically to be pros, to be the subject matter experts at something, you're doing it wrong. I'm just stating. Like I said, Concord was just. I feel bad for Firewalk because maybe they had 200 million of a bad game, and it could have been fixed in 200 more million, but instead of fixing it, they just kept going with it, and I think that was a mistake.
Axel,
yeah, go ahead.
If you were to give me an over or under on this and say like yes or no, do you think the majority of that 400 million, give or take, whatever it was primarily given to management? Because from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like it was put into the game. So what's your take?
Percentage wise, you're always going to have, the workforce is going to be your most expensive thing. Even if like you have a 6-figure manager, if you have like 5 close to 6-figure guys, they're so expensive. But the manager, the reason they're giving those those higher salaries is because they have to be the subject matter experts. They are paid to say the truth. And, the fact, I'm sure Herman Holtz does appreciate the truth, and maybe these managers don't know how to communicate with them in his style. But I'm sure he would have listened to someone if they could have communicated with him properly. Communication methods are highly, they're almost undervalued nowadays. They're taking a second seat to ability. But when it comes to which is great for the workforce, right? You want people who are able to do what they got to do. But when it comes to the managers, you really need people that can communicate. Like, communication is the number one skill a manager can pull, in my opinion.
So if they're categorized as a SME or a subject matter expert, how did this thing actually release?
Again, if you have someone as a manager, subject matter expert that was put there and not a good communicator, more of a brown noser, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be good managers. Just being out there, you have to be able to tell the truth. Like, I remember, younger me, when I had to tell my boss of something that was going to cost us millions of dollars. It was just there was no way around it. And I was so nervous. And I went on a work lunch with someone who's higher than me. And they told me, I think you need to tell him yourself, because that's what you were hired to do. You weren't hired. I think he would appreciate that you told him more than just finding out that they lost automatically. And so I went and told him, and ever since, me and him have been really close. Like, believe it or not, some people appreciate when you're very upfront and close with them and don't sugarcoat it. I have a huge military, I was in the Army. And so I'm very much, I've been called at my workplace blunt and brusque communication style.
Brisk, maybe.
Yeah, where I just get straight to it. No sugarcoating, no colorful adjectives, none of that, I just tell you what you need to hear. And because, I don't know, that's just kind of what they teach you in the Army, right?
Yep.
And
don't BS around. You get to the facts point. No matter what. You don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, just spit the facts. And so I've been told that. But again, I feel that this person might have communicated to his manager, and his manager maybe didn't communicate it up, so forth and so on. Like I said, I think the work that these developers put into Concord shows, like, it is a good looking game. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looked good. The graphics were great. Like, even this texture, this picture here that Hargeet has behind him, look at the texture work on that. It looks great, right? But outside of looking, it needs to play great. Gameplay is king, and that's where maybe nobody was speaking up.
Yeah. Not to interrupt you, I just want to jump in this one part, and we have the utmost respect for Paris Lily here in our chat. So please, everybody, be extremely nice to him. Nobody come at him about anything, or I will ban you permanently. No offense, but Paris is a very well-respected member of this community, and what he's saying, he doesn't want to jump on, and it's absolutely totally cool. He has before, and he may, hopefully in the future he will again for other reasons. But just want to seeing the rumors is presented as fact, and we'll say that this is definitely. Colin even said in his thing that this is what he heard, but he said it was a reliable source. But even then, and people have called it in the past, he's stated more than once that there was going to be a showcase that has never happened. So things, but also in that respect, things change for every company. There's a lot of things I'm sure Microsoft is planning. Let's do this on this date, and then 3 weeks later, no, we're not doing that because of things that happen in the industry and things just the way things are. So anyway, not to beat a dead horse, as it were, but we're probably gonna. Is there anything else you want to add to this, Hargeet? And then but I think we'll go ahead and kind of jump off this because we do have other things to talk about. But Hargeet, is there anything else you want to talk about? Obviously, the comment about the Star Wars, you can definitely comment on that for sure, because it was that was kind of bold of them.
if you continue the video, for those who haven't seen it, please go watch it. You can continue the whole thing.
It
Herman
froze
Holst,
up on me. Couldn't play anymore.
It froze on you. Herman
Yeah.
Holst was the one behind this. He was fully invested in Concord, and you can also see that he's not been invested in other games that have been canceled. But this one he was fully behind. And I'm going to read you the quote of what he said. This is him saying this, not me. It's a direct quote from him. Concord might be one of the greatest multiplayer games of the modern era. This has the potential to overtake Horizon as PlayStation's most important franchise of all time.
That is what
Expect
Herman
to
Holst
see a
said.
lot more Concord in the future. This is directly from Herman Holst. So
Yep.
For those who don't know, Herman is from is it Gorilla? Is that the one that makes Horizon?
Yes.
What's the Gorilla, right? He's from that studio, and that's his IP, right? So he made Horizon, and so he thinks Horizon, not God of War, but Uncharted, Last of Us, none of those are important. No, Horizon is the most important IP at PlayStation, and this was going to displace that. Along with that, they were looking at this. Well, he was looking at this as a new Star Wars level franchise. I'm like, okay, obviously this guy has no idea like how that kind of thing happens. Like, you don't create a Star Wars franchise. A Star Wars franchise is created by the fans. You don't get to create that. Lucas didn't say, I'm going to set out to make the most popular thing ever in history. That doesn't happen. He was terrified it was going to flop.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it really is. He put it out there. The fans loved the fuck out of it, and it became what it is. You don't go in and say, I'm going to make a, like, who the hell does that? Who the heck has that level of arrogance to say
Maybe
that
that's
I'm
what
going to
was
make a
missing, the
Star
fear.
Wars level franchise?
Maybe that's what was missing is the fear. George Lucas was scared everybody would hate it. Yeah.
There's no thought about, like, you have to grow something to the point where fans actually care. You can't just say, I'm going to put something out there that I think is going to beat Star Wars, which outside of fucking religion is possibly the most well-known IP, period. Are you fucking kidding me?
There's plenty of movies out there that have been like, oh, we're going to be this tier. And then when it comes out, it's not anywhere near that. Like, it's good to have wants and dreams, but just because you have hopes and dreams doesn't mean you're going to get there. I don't know. I think if this 400 million is inaccurate, I think that's fine. That's fair if that's the case. But I would like Sony to address that situation, because that is an exorbitant amount of money to be put into a video game. And if that's the case, and if they're not doing their due diligence,
right? Harris is pointing out it's rumor.
No, 100%. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. I don't see 400 million in that release. So if that's the case, I would love to see them explain that narrative and show why it's not 400 million. Personally, we always blast Xbox for the fact that they come out and they're transparent about these things, and it's not what we want to hear. But Sony, I feel like they don't care. Like, you do this thing and you're like, well, it's Sony, so we're not going to talk about it because it's Sony. But if Microsoft doesn't come out and explain themselves, everyone's like, well, what's Microsoft not doing? Why aren't they doing it? So I feel like it's just protecting the precious Sony. And it's frustrating because I feel like we should hold them all accountable the exact same way.
So look, let's say the number is true. It's 400. Let's say it's 300. Whatever it is, they spent that plus cost to acquire, plus cost to market, plus if you bought somebody, you now have to locate them somewhere. So that's facility costs that you have to pay for.
Insane.
There's a whole lot of cost involved, right? So if it is 4, it could be 600, 700 million. We don't know to what level, right? Because I don't know how much they marketed. So that's a lot of wasted money on top of what's happening with Bungie, where Bungie has been an epic fail. Like $1 billion of that was just retention, right? So that's just money down the drain. And then the acquisition cost, let's presume 2.5. Is it worth 2.5 today? Because then it would be okay, right? Because you have an asset worth 2.5. I don't think it's worth that much today. It's just not, because nobody trusts them anymore. So what is that? What are they getting out of that? Right? Is Marathon going to do well? Mag was saying that it may not even come out. Right? He's hearing from several sources that it may not even come out. Let's just assume that's just ridiculous rumor. But we are hearing there are problems with Marathon. They're having issues trying to make it. They don't even know what the game is. It started as Extraction, then Hero. Now it's class-based. Well, what's going on there?
But they also, when we saw the trailer for it and they tried to show it off, let's be honest. Let's just call a spade a spade. It didn't blow anyone away. It didn't get anyone excited. And
they gave it to streamers, and they said we don't want to play it.
No, and that's the thing is, it's like you can't. We were talking about this previously, but it's like, how can you promote this and benefit the fact that Bungie has done these really good IPs previously, right? You can't be like the people who brought you the original Halos, because most of those people are gone. And that was a long time ago. And you can't say from the people that brought you Destiny, because a lot of people are really against Destiny at this point too. It's kind of divisive also.
Yeah.
And
right,
so,
I don't mean to interrupt it. I'm sorry. I just need to. We got a couple super chats. We need to jump on real quick, and then I want to take it in a different direction. I think we're gonna move things along because we're already an hour and 20 minutes into the show. So let's get on with this.
6-hour show.
No.
Sith Lord, member for 9 months. No message. Hey,
no,
Sith
but
Lord.
it just means you renewed. So thank you so much for upping again, buddy. We appreciate that.
Coach Hooded Canuck, member for 4 months. I did not know I was a member here for 4 months now. But keep up the good work, WEBDAVE and Hargeet. I enjoy this Sunday night hangout. Well, thanks.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you being here. And then Spartan, you the man. What a great guy.
Gifted 5 WEBDAVE memberships. And now I'm going to have to go to the thing. I have not actually logged into the YouTube site to actually see who got it. So I can get on the thing here. There we go. And the chat hasn't come up yet, so I'll wait for that. And while that's happening, let's just look at the next one, and then we'll go back.
We'll go back to that one. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Mescalito, $5. Why doesn't everyone ignore, or why does everyone ignore the innate cultural differences in the class divide between the consumer and average developer as a variable for IP failure? Seems obvious. Okay. Interesting. It's a possibility. My chat still hasn't come up. That's kind of crazy.
Sorry, I'll get it for you.
You got them?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mispronounce a few, but that's all right.
Oh, we got
my
another
glasses
one? Okay,
on.
yeah, we got okay. Razer Ultron, AEC for life.
Yeah, he's
member for 3 months.
Yeah, it means he's renewed. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you doing that. Let's see. It looks like the gifted memberships from Spartan 661, or Greg K, the mechanic.
The mechanic, yeah.
Solid White
731, yep.
And then Dr.
Dingle Nut.
And Mike.
And then Mike. Yeah.
Welcome, Mike. There we go. So if you did get the memberships, or if you don't,
and then we got another set.
What?
Dang. He gifted yet another 5 memberships. All right, buddy. And then I'll list those out. Iconic video games. Wait, that's you, Axel.
Axel got one. Thanks there. Axel, burn those emojis up. Let's go. Get the emojis going.
Ricardo Mangata, Stilo Fax, OG Frost, and Barry Donlan. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Spartan 661. Your generosity is beyond bounds, and thank you so much. And just so you know,
membership, appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So if you have access to all these, they're silent. Put them all up there. So they do change sporadically. We do update. We were able to add a new one last week because of the membership thing. We're about maybe 10 away now from adding one more emoji. So we'll just have to see what happens. But like I said, it's not a. But if you want to become on your own without getting a gifted, it's only $1. Literally, I made it to where it's just $1 to become a member, and you have access to all the emojis. So there you go. So cool. And if you got them, burn them up. We just added the Astrobot, and then the Halloween's coming up, so we added the pumpkin again. There we go. I might put Michael Myers up there. You never know. Hockey mask. I think you should put that one up there too. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you all so much for everybody. There we over 320 people in the chat. We are definitely not done yet, but we are gonna switch up a little bit. Let's talk about people's what you guys think. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna start off with Axel. So Axel, oh well, shit. All right, let's do this real quick, Axel, and then we'll then I'll tell you what we're gonna talk about. So yeah.
Oh boy, Silent Cypher. All right, gifted 5 WebDave memberships. Thank you, sir. All right, now let's read those off. We got No Sir, Weapon X, Jax82, Primo Drake, and Tembo.
And
Welcome.
also,
wow, and then WebDave. All right, let's get those. And
from
we
Spartan again.
Actually, those were the ones from you, WebDave, and now I can get the ones from, or at least I think.
No, those are from him.
No, those are you. Yeah. Where are you?
Okay, never mind. I did it twice. That was my bad. All right, but still, thank you so much, Sounds. I didn't have to do that. You big sexy.
I feel guilty because when I speak my mind, I feel like sometimes it's very divisive. So
Not at all. No.
you all for
dude, you're more welcome to be here and speak your mind. That's not a problem at all. That's why we have you on, man. And you're going to continue to come on as long as you want to join us. You'll continue to get the invite. That's for sure. That is for sure. So thank you so much for all the memberships we got tonight from Spartan 661, Silent Cypher. And what I was saying is, if you do want to join yourself, it's only $1. You can join the membership for just $1 and have access to all those wonderful things. So, Axel, let me rephrase this one more time, because we're going to start off with the subject we are going to get into now, which is the Tokyo Game Show. So it's supposed to be big for third party for Xbox. There's supposed to be some big announcements coming up for Game Pass. And there is the show, which we started off this show with, which was the little trailer announcement that that the man himself, that's right, Phil Spencer, introduced, saying that there will be a Tokyo Game Show showcase and announcements. Hold that thought, Axel, real quick. I'll let you hit those real quick there.
Wow.
Thank you, Spartan.
Here we go again.
Jesus, dude,
all right,
so
Spartan 661. 5 more. All right. Wow. Let's get that list. And we got Cyclone 1999, Malcolm Xlax 3, RC Polygons, Mr. Xbot, and Mass Produce.
Congratulations, everybody who got a free membership, a gifted membership. Thank you all so much for being here. And if you get a chance, definitely want to get on there and use those emojis. Burn them up, have fun. Let's see. We got the I love this one, which is the Gears one. That was the first one that we added to the channel. Love that nice big sea of red. Ooh.
Yeah.
So burn it up, man. If you get a chance in there, let's get some Gears ones going. Or TTS is another good one to add for Dirt and Sean. Dirt took my chapters. Dirt. Anyway, so yeah. But okay. So Axel, let's we'll focus on this question. I promise. We're not going to get distracted, at least not for a little bit. So what do you think, man? The Tokyo Game Show coming up, lots of big rumors, speculations. Anything you've heard, you think about, or anything you want to see coming up from, and how important you think the Tokyo Game Show is to Microsoft?
I don't know about Microsoft or them, but I know it's important to me because last year Persona came to Xbox, not just Xbox, but Game Pass. Persona 3 Reload, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royale all came to Xbox on the Tokyo Game Show, and I bought all 3 of those. So I was super happy to see those come over to Team Green. That was a big deal. Also, Phoenix Wright, which leaves here in 8 days, came from the Tokyo Game Show. So there are some games, some Japanese games that still need to come over. But you know what? I feel like Xbox, you owe me. You owe me. After what you did to Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush, you owe me a Japanese developer. All right? Or a heavy relationship with a Japanese developer. You know, I'm thinking Sega because I'm a huge Sega kid, obviously. Right? And something Sega.
A few moments later.
Yes, absolutely. They so I'm gonna guess that we're gonna see Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth come to Game Pass at Tokyo Game Show, which is gonna be great. Love the Like a Dragon series. I'm gonna predict that we're gonna see outside of that one, there's like what else? Because we got Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess announced last year and it released this year. Has Capcom announced it? Maybe Resident Evil announcement? That'd be something sweet, right? If Xbox got the first go at the Resident Evil announcement. But yeah, of course, everybody wants Square Enix, right? To come over to Team Green, but I have given up on Square Enix, just being honest, because knowing them, they'll be like, all right, guys, coming to Game Pass is Foam Stars. Knowing them, just knowing Square, that's how they're going to do us. I mean, they're that's the kind of company they are. They're like, yeah, we are so happy to invite Xbox Game Pass players to Foam Stars. Some crap like that, you know. Instead of giving us Final Fantasy VII, you're like, yes, Square Enix Final Fantasy's coming and it's Foam Stars. Like I can 100% see that happening, right? So I've given up on Square Enix, but I would love to get Final Fantasy 16 for sure, 7, and of course the Pixel remasters. Those are like my wish list, as I would buy all of those on Xbox. Well, maybe not 7 and 16, as I already bought them on my PS5 and I don't double buy. But the Pixel collections, I would love to buy those on my Xbox. Or maybe, maybe just for me, Square Enix will announce another one of their rhythm games. Oh God, what's it called? Something Theater Rhythm. There we go. Theater Rhythm. Yeah, Theater Rhythm. Maybe they'll announce their next Theater Rhythm, and this time it's coming to Xbox. That would be sweet for me, as I am a music games. I love music games. I miss my Guitar Hero. But yeah, that's what I would love to see from the Tokyo Game Show. But as far as I'm concerned, Xbox owes me after what they did with Hi-Fi Rush.
There you go. Axel, can you read what Dreadpool, your buddy and friend and cohort, said to you there?
Dreadpool says, Iconic Video Games, I thought you said Foam Stars was your game of the year that I threw in the trash. Maybe the game of the good old Dread.
Thanks, Dread. We love it here, buddy. There we go. All right. So anything else, Axel, or well, of course, you're welcome to chime in at any time.
I would love for them to announce something official with Sega.
Yes.
If Sega launches like how they have EA Play on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. If Sega doesn't have an online service, but if they launched like, I don't know, Sega Channel 2.0 or whatever the hell they call it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Sega Channel would be the appropriate name for it. If they announced like a Sega Channel or, a partnership with Xbox, like, oh, all Sega titles are going to be coming to Game Pass. I'm sold. Yeah. Old titles, new titles. Because, they're redoing a lot of the old titles. They're doing Jet Set Radio. They're doing Crazy Taxi. They're doing, is it Gauntlet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Altered Beast, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, Altered Beast. Yeah. And to have all those announced and be like, and you know what, they're all coming to Game Pass. I'm happy because I'm a huge Sega guy. That would be so fun for me.
Golden Axe,
that'd be so fun.
I would love if they did some kind of like a Dreamcast collection and put it in Game Pass.
Yeah,
like 10 just like Blue Stinger and stuff like that. That you just
Space Channel 5
to get. Exactly, Space Channel 5 would be great.
Oh yeah, Shinobi. Yeah, a new Shinobi would be great because I think the last new Shinobi we got was like on the PS2 or something. We need another Shinobi. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome, Infinite. Appreciate you being here. What's
So
up, chat
that's what
family?
I would love to
Yeah.
get announced.
Me too. I agree with you on that one for sure, and I'll do it the right time this time. There we go.
Yes.
All right. So, Silent Cypher, buddy, what are your thoughts? What do you think about the Tokyo Game Show? What could be happening? What could be shown? Be speculation, rumors, anything?
God, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, we don't see Microsoft really advertise or promote a lot when it comes to these things, when it comes to announcements, stuff like that. I generally, there's a lot of that cadence of temper expectations. And so I'm kind of curious, like the fact that they state that this is something that we're going to want to see as Xbox fans. It does make me curious. I mean, obviously we have something like Metaphor that comes out, I think it's October 11th. So I'm kind of
for Refantasio, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So like I'm curious, like maybe there's something tied to there, but I think more than anything, because there's already that relationship there for the Yakuza games. I would not be surprised if it was something like Infinite Wealth or whatever. Like that makes the most sense to me. But as Metaphor is coming over, it's the new game from them. Maybe they've got some sort of deal going there. Who knows? I don't know if it's going to come to Game Pass yet necessarily. I think it'll come to Game Pass, but I would imagine within the 6 to 9 month window. I don't think that one's going to hit day and date by any means. I think if that were the case, I think we would have already heard about it by now. Personally, I mean, I could be way off. And if it turns out that they're like, hey, by the way, this is coming out day one or whatever, cool, awesome. I hope to be wrong, because that would be amazing to have it on there. But I think it leans more towards Yakuza, just given their relationship and the cadence with those games recently. Personally, for me, I think it'd be really cool if we ended up seeing something from like Atlas. We never ended up getting the Catherine remake on the Xbox side of things, and it would be really cool to see that finally come. I've always kind of hoped that some of these quirky games would end up showing up eventually. We had Catherine on 360, and so it was kind of a weird miss to not have that remake or remaster or whatever on the recent Xbox systems. So I kind of hope for something that's a little more like that, like just kind of something that's not as obvious. But I think because of Sega's relationship with them, with everything that's been going on recently, I'm sure they've got something. I would like to see something from Atlas as well. Just see an Atlas specific thing from some of their titles that they have. They've been doing a lot of the Phoenix Wright games recently. They actually have another one that I think is either it just released or it's coming out soon for some of the attorney games, which would be really cool. I don't know. I mean, it as we all know, it really sucked to see what happened with Tango. It was an unfortunate situation, and it feels like that dev studio really got shafted at a bad time. Like Hi-Fi Rush was really cool, and it would have been awesome to see more come from them at that point in time when they got shut down. Like, it sucks to see all those people get shuttered, but hopefully they're working more in that region to try and get some more Asian developers tied in, because Microsoft has always had kind of a weakness in that side of things.
Yeah. That would definitely. There's definitely a lot of things that could happen, that could be added for sure. So I'm really excited for it. So I don't have any kind of inside source because I don't. Obviously, I think we all have friends in this, that are I guess closer to some things than others, as it were. And not to be spoiler or trying to leak anything, because it's not what I'm doing, not at all. I'll just say with a lot of confidence, because somebody like Jez Corden has a lot of confidence, and his sources are pretty close to, to what's going on. Has his hand on the pulse, as it were. And it seems like it's going to be a good show, and we're going to have some surprises. Hargeet, I'll let you talk about it, and then I got sent a nice little clip from Weebly Green, which I'll play here in a minute, from when King David was on. He had about a couple of minutes of his insights, and we'll end up we'll play that here in just a minute. But go ahead, Hargeet. What are your thoughts on the Tokyo Game Show?
Well, look, like all the stuff that you guys have already mentioned, right? Bringing things over that weren't there. That's fine. That's cool. I'm actually looking forward to new stuff. So I want to see some new games. They said they have several hundred developers in Japan, right, or Asia, that they were working with. That was several years ago from Cerebon. So I want to see those. Like, they definitely have shown quite a few already. But I want to see what the heck else is coming, right? So, a major, first party-ish, or second party, Asian developed game would be kind of nice to showcase, right? So there's all, like, you could see something like Persona 6, right, being announced. And I'm like, the problem with that is it's such an epic announcement that you'd want to do that in June, right? So I don't expect to see something earth-shattering like that, but a smaller game, think of like Pal World. Nobody expected that to blow up the way it did, but it's a Japanese developer, and they worked with Pocket Pair on the previous game. What was it called? Terraria or something? I don't know. It was something like whatever. But they worked with them on that one. They worked on Pal World. Cool. So I think there's going to be more of those kind of things that you can see here. If it's a larger game, it's possible you see it here. It might be something they hold for either the Game Awards or June Showcase, right? So we'll see. But those are the kind of things I want to see. I want to see like new stuff, whether it's from one of the third-party publishers is going to go everywhere, but it's announcing with Xbox. That'd be awesome. Especially if it goes to Game Pass, that'd be even better. But at least like the stuff that they were working on, right? They specifically were trying to get developed. I'd like to see some of that stuff kind of come to fruition, right? So it's been a while. Maybe it's time to see some trailers at this point of things that might be coming over the next couple of years. So that's kind of where I'm looking. The Sega partnership, it's still pretty good. They definitely get a lot of stuff. The Like a Dragon thing seems pretty reasonable, right? It's about that much time now, so it seems reasonable it would go into Game Pass. But maybe it doesn't, but it does seem reasonable though. We'll see if others do, right? There could be some games that have come out and maybe they do go into Game Pass, right? Announcements like that. The other thing that would be killer if they really want to like try to do anything in that region. I've been noticing, I don't know if people know what the market's like over there, but there's two major retailers, there's Amazon and there's Yodobashi. Yodobashi has had Xbox in the top 5 for a month now, and that's unheard of. Like, Xbox doesn't sell over there. And right now it is numbers, I think it's like 3 and 4. 3 and 4 in sales over there. And that's the all digital that's not out yet, but they're pre-ordering. And then the normal with the disk drive and the 1 terabyte. It's somehow they're selling Xboxes, and this is their opportunity to say, hey, you know what? Sony just increased the price by like $90 for the PlayStation over there. And they're selling you a PS5 Pro that's $900 converted into the yen that they're asking. So jeepers, here we've got the Series S. Let's give you a discount on it, because they just bumped their prices up, right? So they could say, hey, you know what? Let's try to make the Series S really, really cheap, and see if we can capture some market from PlayStation, who's faltering, right? So, and here are a bunch of games that we're releasing this fall, including Call of Duty, which maybe they do show. I don't know, right? Maybe they show it. So we'll see. So I think that would be kind of an interesting thing to do, to try to say, hey, we're here. We have all this stuff. They could also just showcase things like World of Warcraft, right? The stuff that's already come out, right? Expansions for things that might be more relevant there. This is just an interesting time for them to see what they do with it, right? ABK is a big deal. Let's see how they leverage that, right? The Asian market, they do play a lot of the ABK games. So let's see what that means for them and how they leverage that. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see what they do from a market presence perspective, but I'd like to see new stuff. But I think from a market presence perspective, hey, you're going there. The other side's having issues. It's just, it is what it is, right? And they're increasing prices, and I'm just looking at the trend. And Japan is buying Xboxes. Now, that doesn't mean that they bought like 10 million of them, but it just means it's an uptick, right? In comparison to where it is, it's selling more than the Switch, right? So just put it in perspective, and the Switch is by far the most popular console there. And it's been weeks, months. It's been in the top 5. I'm like, this is kind of crazy because it normally doesn't chart. So something's going on, right? Take advantage, try to do something, try to bundle something, whatever, right? I think that's a good thing to try to pull off, to see if you can just gain a little bit of market share. You're not going to beat, we know that they're not going to beat PlayStation or Nintendo, but what the heck, get a bit more foothold with the massive catalog of games you have, the massive amount of games coming in the roadmap, right? So that's what I'm hoping they do. They do a little bit of that, and then they have a lot of Japanese stuff that's going to be more relevant to people. Asian games are going to be more relevant to people. They have Genshin coming. They could announce that there. Could there be other Hoyoverse games coming? Cool, announce that there, right? Like, those are the kind of things they need to do, right? Just bring more of the content that's relevant to that region. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. We'll see how far they go with it. I don't even know how long it is. I don't think they've announced how long it is. But yeah, we'll see what they do with it. But I want new stuff, and I want them to take advantage of the current market condition. And hey, you just bought ABK, you now kind of have it there with you. You're presenting their games. It's time to start taking advantage, and let's see what you can do with that, right? Try to compete.
Yeah, agreed.
What if they announce StarCraft Ghost?
You tease.
Oh my God. I'm just curious. Do you think that would be a thing you wouldn't put at June Showcase? Because that would be a massive announcement. Do you think that they would put that out over there?
Religion over there,
Yeah,
true.
But I mean, wouldn't you want that in June Showcase?
I don't know, man. I think if you want to make an impact over there, you got to go StarCraft over there.
If
StarCraft is huge. It is.
It is
bigger than it is here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know, man.
If you're gonna do it though, my guess would be, like you mentioned, the June Showcase or the Video Game Awards, because traditionally, like TGS, yes, it draws in some attention for sure, but the Video Game Awards and the June Showcases and stuff, that's usually where you see a lot more of that traction. So I don't know if we'd see it at TGS.
Well, I would disagree. I would disagree.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because the Tokyo Game Show in Japan is 10 times bigger than like an E3. I don't know if you've seen the layout of like what they have, and it's unreal how many different developers, games and stuff that are going there. It's
The vast majority of which are mobile, but
yeah, but still, there's all the big companies there, and Sega's back for the first time in a lot of years. And if they announced it here for something like that, it's all cause rumors and speculation. If StarCraft was something that would be announced, it would be a good place to do it and then build on it, because that way it gets them in the door, and then at the Game Awards or at the June Showcase next year, then you've got their attention, and then that's when you can rake them in with whatever else new that you might have. Just a thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. It just kind of.
No, you're good. Like I'm pissing in the wind when it comes to these predictions, right? Like I'm just saying what makes sense to me. But again, I'm a US citizen. So I don't see all these things. It's like Gamescom, right? It's like Gamescom is huge as far as the impact that it has and the viewership, the visitation that event has. So I don't see all of it. So this is me looking through my very small scope to a very big scenario. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, but what makes sense to me doesn't necessarily make sense to a multi-trillion-dollar company.
Yeah.
As far as viewership, just to kind of give some numbers, last TGS it was 22-ish million, 22.5 million. For comparison, this is from ChatGPT. I don't know if it's accurate or not. June showcase was 92 million. And then, as we know, TGA, the Game Awards, those generally eclipse 100, right? So it'll probably be 110, 20 million.
Yeah.
Just to kind of put some numbers around it.
I think if they announce I don't feel that announcing StarCraft Ghost would be out of the way. I mean, we've always said, hey man, you got to go after the Asian market. You got to go after the Asian market. What better way to get people to buy your Xbox than StarCraft Ghost?
Absolutely.
I mean,
but that requires it to come to console, right?
Of course, I'm talking console. I'm talking console. Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's what you're,
looks pretty good. And then looking at their
doesn't necessarily require a console anymore, though, right? Because you could stream these things if you have a TV, if you have an Amazon stick, if you have things like that. Like, you can do these things outside of a console ecosystem.
There's also the question of if they bring anything to console for that publisher, would they not just put it everywhere?
Yeah, very true. Let's see if I could find that. There were some venue maps, maybe. Let's see. Gosh, I don't even know if I could do it justice. There's so many. There's 17 different halls. No, 11 different halls. Well, actually, already 12 different halls.
So Victor Alliston threw in a super chat, and I want to kind of comment on it.
Yeah, I'll throw it up there, and you can read it if you want to. Let me.
Sure.
Let me throw it up there. Hit the right button.
And we're at it. Hit the like button. Yeah. So Victor says, makes sense. Help blow the Tokyo Game Show like they did for the Game Awards. Yeah, when they announced Hellblade 2 and the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards, it blew up, and it got more attention on Xbox than they've had in a long time. So if they announce a new title at the Tokyo Game Show, especially such a beloved title or such a dream title like StarCraft Ghost, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up everywhere, and it's going to, I'm sure that the people of Asia will appreciate that. Hey, Xbox saved that announcement for us at our venue, and I think that's also part of Xbox's plan. It should be to make an impact at every showcase. The June showcase, the Gamescom, the Game Awards, every showcase, they need to have something to make an impact because people expect it from them. I mean, ever since the announcement of the Xbox Series X and Hellblade, every Game Award, I was looking for the next Hellblade trailer. Just being honest, I was. So, I think it's good. It's nothing but good for the whole company, for Xbox's image.
Exactly.
I don't see anything negative with it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see any negativity at all. There's a lot of people that say, why are you wasting money here? It's not a waste. It's not a waste at all, especially when you're, you want to try and hit the goals that Phil has put out for the company of the, 3 billion users at some point to Game Pass. Well, this is what you got to do. And Sarah's been working hard on that as well. There's I guess there's a lot more things to it. Buying ABK, was some people say it's a blessing, other people say it's a curse. I say it is a blessing because even though there's some things that are changing, the industry is changing, and we can see that. And no matter whether Concord cost them $100 million or $500 million, I don't know, but whatever it did cost them, and it did hurt them. So it hurt Sony no matter what. There's no denying that. No matter how you slice it, they can't just wash it off because business doesn't work that way, folks. I think we all know that. So it's definitely part of it that's there. And the more they are, the more they're out, the more they're in these different venues, and that they're doing another showcase. I mean, this is the third one this year. That's good.
We are really so spoiled as fans. We really are.
Exactly. And
in a good way.
Waiting for that Sony Secret Showcase. But yeah,
keep waiting.
Yeah, but supposedly they do have a state of play coming up. And then, of course, there's rumors, and we don't know for sure. We'll find out. Rumors are rumors until they're true or not. But if there is a state of play, that it's going to be all third party, not going to be any first party stuff shown.
And remasters.
And remaster, yeah, kind of like their system. But all right. So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to play this clip. It's about 2 minutes long. It's from We Bleed Green with our buddy Sean and Dut. Exactly. And it's got Dev, RBG, and Joey. Love Joey. He's so awesome. He was in our chat. He was in there earlier. He may still be there. And of course, that a guest of King David was on. And this is what King David had to say about the upcoming Tokyo Game Show.
What they're going to show at the Tokyo Game Show is going to be all their partners that's all in the Eastern market in Asia, all of that stuff. That's encompassing Black Myth Wukong. So everybody wants a date for Black Myth. You're going to have a date. I'm not saying Black Myth is inside Game Pass. If it's inside Game Pass, y'all will not get me off of Twitter. Y'all will not get me off of YouTube. Y'all dudes just might as well delete your account and just move to Alaska. And just delete your channel, because I'm popping in your channel. I'm doing all type. I'm asking you for a link. I'm pulling up to your house, knocking on your door with my phone in my hand, asking for a link. You gonna ask how I found where you live. But I heard the whole slate from Square.
The whole slate, including Seven.
The whole slate.
I mean, Seven make. Sorry.
Whatever they don't have. New JRPGs, the whole slate. So whatever contracts y'all think y'all know, whatever you think you know, I heard that's BS. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm from the show me state. You got to show me you got bread for you get in the club. I don't believe you. Right? So when the game show comes up, yeah, cool. We'll see. But I know Square's going to be there in a big way. I already know they got Visions of Mana. I don't know if they hold Visions of Mana and say, boom, it's going inside Game Pass. I don't know, right? I don't know if they say Final Fantasy 16, boom, is inside Game Pass. I don't know that. I don't know if they say Final Fantasy 16 is at full price and that old-ass game, Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy Rebirth, is inside Game Pass and double will bang you. I don't know if that's what they do.
Ken, what if he gets Forspoken?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it, because I bet you those dudes right now take Redfall as much as they tell you that they won't.
Right.
I bet you down. I don't believe anything anybody says anymore, because they're liars, right? Because the fact is, when they put those 4 stimmies over there, those dudes were saying, "Nah, we don't want Xbox games." For years, they've been saying this. So,
yeah, but they do now. They do now. Anyway, great episode. And We Green podcast, just to give them a shout out, is Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Dirt Griggity's channel. So please make sure you bookmark that and watch it every week. They do get a little salty, a little slanderous, and they bleed green for a reason. So, and if you're a pony and you start talking shit in their chat, they will snipe you. They will not let you live in their chat and discussion. You can watch them all you want to. You can clip them all you want to. But anyway, so yeah. So, guy, I didn't mean to interrupt. Whoever was getting ready to jump in, jump right in. Anybody?
Not everyone at once.
Yeah,
So quiet.
I think you're next, Dave. Yeah, you were talking to us about your leaks,
Yeah,
your
what?
rumors.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
let's look at the
All
leaks.
I
let's
was
Spoiler
saying
incoming.
is
Let's
that
hear about these leaks.
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
what's the spoiler? I'm still waiting to be spoiled.
there's going to be some big announcements at the showcase. Things kind of like what King was talking about, that it's and some more things that'll, I mean, some people are like, oh, Genshin Impact was an old game. It's big. It's really big, and it's really big for Microsoft to have it. And there's some other things that haven't been on that are going to be made known soon. And we'll just leave it at that, because I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna say that I don't think anybody I don't think it's going to be disappointing to anybody that tunes in and watches. At Central Standard Time, it's like a 5 a.m. for me. I'll still be at work, finishing up work.
It's gonna be 6 a.m. here. I'm barely gonna be waking up. I mean, geez.
Yeah,
On a Thursday morning.
But
I put some spoilers in your DMs.
Oh, did you?
Marketing spoilers.
Oh snap! Put those in my DMs too.
Oh, damn. Okay, cool. All right, so
Non-public, I take it.
Saying.
You're gonna show it? Yeah, go for it.
Oh,
this
really?
This is next level marketing.
Wait,
in
is
Asia.
Axel, I don't know if I can show this or not. Well, okay, I guess we'll show it. This is inside source from Axel, and so you can thank him for this. Everybody, make sure you
set aside for you.
Close. I don't want you to miss
Looking
anything.
forward to this. Yeah.
Are you? I don't know if you'll be. I don't know. It'll be very exciting. Here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Oh yeah. Look at these plushies. These Xbox plushies coming to a store near you.
My kids are excited.
I'm sure they are, especially the teenagers.
Oh God! Oh no! Well, it doesn't have a disk drive anymore, so I don't have to worry about extra slots.
I don't know about you.
Geez, TMI.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Too soon.
Well,
Too
as long as you got a hard drive, I guess you're okay.
Oh,
If
wow.
you don't get a hard drive after looking at that picture. Just kidding.
Abdel, that Series S though. Found Ray, I'd cop.
Alrighty. Oh, yeah. There we go. Well, no, thanks for sharing.
Pause.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Anyway, see?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all. Oh, here we go.
That was awesome.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
The storage is expanding.
Sorry.
And tells Willie my drive is so hard. Alrighty then.
Oh my god. Abdel, oh my god.
Is that a Diddy party?
No.
We
don't talk about those.
Oh goodness.
Too far.
You don't party like a Diddy party, so yeah.
I can't believe you have that. Oh my god.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
Thank you for that.
Oh my gosh. Abdel, Series S.
Too soon?
Series soft.
Not at all. Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. And I do. Let's hope it's not more games going over to the other. But there probably will be at some point. Yeah, Hargee comes through in a clutch. He does. He definitely does. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some more games in the future that that'll be on PlayStation, that'll be Xbox branded, but I'm not so sure that in the future there won't be some third-party games coming from Sony that might hit you wrinkle your face, but we'll just have to see. Let's just see how the Pro sells.
We'll see more of them on PC for sure.
Yes, definitely, and on Switch.
Yes, in regards to seeing on Xbox though, again, I feel like we've gone back to that PS3 arrogance where Xbox doesn't exist to them. So even if they get to a point where they're desperate for sales, they want more money, I don't think they're going to come to Xbox. You look at something like MLB The Show, their hand was forced on that situation. I don't think, unless there's absolutely no way for them to do it, that it comes to Xbox. PC, Switch, sure. But I think I think there's an arrogance and a pride that comes with Sony that they will not come to Xbox unless they absolutely have to and there's no other option.
And who has that? Would that be the CEO? Well, he's gone. Would that be the new CEO?
I mean,
he's about to be gone.
That's the thing, right? Is like it's been a constant shuffle of just mess, right? Like you look at Herman's situation, you look at Hiroki, like everything that's happened over and over again,
Nice, Barton.
just makes you think like shift to Xbox also, become multi-plat, take the advantage where you can, earn that money in whatever ecosystem as you can. That's what Microsoft does. It makes sense. They make money off of it. But I feel like there's this arrogance on their side of things where they just don't want to do it.
And that's the problem, right? The Hiroki Totoki doesn't care about any of that. So we will see. You might be right that they just don't bother. But then did you expect them to put stuff on Nintendo? But they are.
Horizon Lego. I mean, that's the start.
And that's
of
not
this
the only
whole thing,
one.
right?
That new game
Freedom
that was
Wars?
just announced, that's coming too. The one that was a
Right.
PSP exclusive.
Band-Aid, Switch.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know
I
about
don't know,
that
man.
one,
Like,
right?
yeah.
No, I have
Somebody
no
called
idea.
you out for that.
What are you talking about, sir?
Yeah,
I have
Sean
no
made a
idea what
comment
you're
on that.
talking about. A Freudian
Um,
slip, as it were, right?
Yeah.
With the recent losses, Hiroki probably wants to see some positive cash flow. Yeah, this is the thing, right? Like, there is like this console wariness, and just like with Phil, it's like, well, we could take older stuff. Is that going to really kill things? And look, all they're doing right now is remastering their old games. That's it. That's all they're doing. That's all we get from them.
Yes.
So at some point, why don't you just say, hey, this is like an 8-year-old game. We're going to remaster it and it'll come to everything. Okay. Is it going to kill their system? Maybe. I don't know. I just don't know that it would matter. I think they need to make more games and have that be their exclusivity thing. But they haven't been able to because they have this game as a service thing and it's all been destroyed now. All right. It's because they have to backpedal on their marketing only in PlayStation. Right. Yeah, whatever. But that gets fixed pretty fast and people forget all those things pretty fast too.
But one thing they don't forget, Hargeet, is this.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Yeah, that's strange, right?
Nice.
No Game Pass on PlayStation. So
Not yet.
That's
Yeah.
Not yet.
Or on Nintendo because they ship
No.
games on Nintendo.
Not
right.
yet.
Like,
Right.
yes.
And
So
and that relationship, you look at them and like it wouldn't surprise me if down the road maybe there was something where they put something together. Like maybe they work it out. Who
Yeah.
knows? I do have to give credit to Mr. Boomstick. He actually mentioned the idea of like Spider-Man 2 coming to the Xbox ecosystem at some point in time. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, honestly, it's like you mentioned those things are more of dormant at this point in time because it's not the thing that they're focusing on. It wouldn't
Yep.
surprise me. It would not surprise me if something like that came over. To an extent. Like I'd still be a little bit shocked because again, PlayStation's arrogance. But if you want to make more money, like you release it to as many ecosystems as
Yeah.
possible. It just
that
makes
Lego
sense.
one just makes no sense not to bring it everywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a
And the
Lego
fact
game.
that it's not on Xbox yet, like I think again, that only rings true to the whole thing of like the pride of we don't want Horizon,
Which is
on
going to be
Xbox.
Herman, right? And
Yeah.
do we think Herman is there next year?
I don't think so. To be honest, like it would not surprise me if Herman was not the decision maker.
And whoever they
And
bring, I
here-
don't know if Nishino takes over the whole thing or if, if they just say, all right, we're going to hire somebody new. And Hiroki's thing is, I want to maximize profit. I don't care about console wars. I care about profit.
And
So go make
ultimately
that happen.
that's all that matters, right? Is like a
Yep.
handful of us have a lot of fun with console war-y stuff. But at the end of
They're
the
just
day,
like for bottom
it's-
line.
exactly. It's a company. They want to make the money. So
Yep.
they are not concerned about whether it's on one plastic box or another. They will sell it wherever they can sell it because
Yeah.
that's what keeps them alive. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, we got more gifted memberships. Korkenstein, shout out Korkenstein.
buddy.
How's it going, man? He gifted 5 WebDave memberships. So first you get, if it
Let's
actually
see.
plays, and then all right, Sir Riffs a lot, Joey, Slimy Mucus, AJ86, and Queen Blueface.
We're all
Welcome.
gifted. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you doing that. And Corkston, we're gonna have to have you back on again. You were a great guest, and I'd love to have you back on. I'll send you a DM here in a little bit and see if we can work at a time where you can jump back on with us in the future, buddy. Would love to have you back on. So yeah, guys, I guess we'll one more little thing we'll play. Well, actually, we'll show this and get your quick comments on this because we all heard about it, and since we're kind of talking about goodness, cash grabs and needing the money kind of thing. Yeah, can you imagine what I'm going to show? Can you? Oh, maybe you can. Look at there. Yeah.
I'm getting the controller. I'm pony body.
I mean,
I'm getting the controller.
Yeah.
Shout out to them and props in the fact that they understand the homework assignment. Because again, this week we just hit the Fable 20th anniversary, and guess what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? No live background, no controller, no skin, no wrap. Which again, where the hell are the wraps? Because we had Starfield wrap, we had 2 or 3 other random ones. Why are you not utilizing the opportunity to get people excited about the IPs and the franchises in your lineup? Like you could, it's an easy home run. The wraps cost next to nothing, I'm sure, for them to do. So why wouldn't you bring something out to celebrate one of your brands? Like, that is one of the longest running brands in Xbox history. Now, I understand it's changed hands, it's changed development studios, stuff like that. But why aren't you celebrating your brands? Like, you look at Sony right here, the exact same week, they announced this right here. Now, granted, I don't want one of those massive routers on my entertainment system, but it triggers a nostalgia, right? It triggers that nostalgia of back when we enjoyed Sony. Back when Sony was the Sony we enjoyed is not the same Sony as what we have now, right?
Mm.
So it's just, it feels like a missed opportunity. Like this, I will not buy this because $700, you can kiss my grits. Like that's ridiculous. But they're triggering that nostalgia, and I have to give them credit for the fact that they're at least understanding the homework assignment and they're getting people engaged in those things that they grew up in.
Yeah. And you do know that the anniversary editions are a lot more expensive than the new.
Yes. Yeah, it's like $1,000, $1,000 to $1,200. But again, it's going to be one of those things where, like, those people, the diehards, because this isn't going to be the fans.
Scalpers.
It's going to be the fanboys, the scalpers, stuff like that. They're going to be the people that buy these, but it gets people engaged. It gets people interested. And I feel like, here's my thing. Microsoft had that Blue Sky Cypher controller that just came out.
Yes.
Which is badass. I will give them 100% credit. I love that controller. It's the same style as the 20th anniversary Xbox controller. But here's my thing is, like, you were 2 weeks out from the release of Fable anniversary, right? Why not tie in a release of a controller to that instead of just releasing another random controller? You could have had a win with Fable and with people who were fans of that franchise.
Agreed. Yep. So what do you think, Hargeet?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about that, but like, if it's there, it's there, whatever. For those who want to buy it, let them buy it. But I do agree with the nostalgia thing, though. They're building quite it's a very small number, and obviously they're going to be like collector items, and like it's going to be very hard to get them. But that's the kind of thing you do, right? And it's Silent, they used to make a whole bunch of these. Like, they used to be custom consoles all the time. And maybe that's also a way you get inflated like console sales or whatever. But because I bought the Gears one, I didn't need it, but I'm like, it looks too good to not buy. I have to buy this. So I bought the the Xbox One X Gears Edition, the Elite controller, the Gears Elite controller, the Halo Elite controller. It's like they used to do this stuff, and now they just sort of like gave up on it. And they're like, why? Especially the controllers, because they're not locked to just Xbox. Those are PC controllers. Like it's available to, and you can have all sorts of options with the various games they have, with any partnership games they have. I just like, why aren't they doing more of that? It just seems like it's a wasted opportunity. And the better thing is, if you go to Design Lab, they have one option for a game-based controller, and that's Fallout. And it's like, why isn't there 20 in there? Why don't you have all your IPs in there and charge a mark? I guarantee you somebody will pay $10-15 more. They'll pay it. And they'll get the one the game that they like. Like, why aren't you just taking the money? I just don't get it. Like, what?
I'll do you one better too. You have Design Labs. You could go in there and you could say, hey, you want a Concord? You want like a Conquer, not Concord. Sorry, you want Conquer the Squirrel
Concord
trailer? No, not Concord. My bad. You want one of these? Like, we're gonna charge you $20 extra so you can have this special edition.
That's what I'm talking about. Design Labs. It has one.
Yeah.
It has Fallout. It's like, why aren't the rest in there?
And they've done it. And I think that's
your
the thing
IP.
that frustrates me the most is
like,
their IPs, their franchises you have. So like, live in your ecosystem, utilize your ecosystem the way it is. You have those franchises. You're not paying more to do so. So why not celebrate those brands? Like, it feels like a missed opportunity.
And then the console wraps, that's another thing that, like, so they created the one for Starfield, and then they added the two like ridiculous ones. There was the Arctic camo and the blue, I don't know, whatever. It was some stupid shit. I'm like, dude, no. You should be putting, every time you have a game release, there needs to be a wrap, right? Why the heck isn't there? Especially if it's a large game. Like, what are you doing?
They put more effort into the Xbox 360 faceplates than they did this. And I don't understand why, because it's cheap enough. The return in income, like the investment in this versus what you're actually making as a monetary value, is very, very substantial versus what you're selling it for.
Yeah,
that's what I don't get.
And again, you don't even have to build it. People will like, if you just put it on Design Labs and say, here are the options.
Yeah.
It will ship in 2 weeks. People will do it. They'll buy it. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
And the point,
Pick the one you
and
want.
the point was made too. Like, you could do it. You don't have to have the stock already on hand.
Exactly.
You could have it pre-ordered, and people could determine, like, this is how much we actually need to make. Right.
Yeah.
So then you create those after you cut off the cap, and then you're done with it. But it's just a missed opportunity, and it feels like you could make so much money off of it by celebrating these brands, because now that you have ABK, especially, you have so many brands that you can celebrate across the board.
It's just such a massive miss that I just don't understand. They used to do it all the time.
I need to jump in.
I just don't get it.
Sorry. Need to jump in.
Sorry.
No. Just Sal, we had talked actually earlier. Do you need to get a heart out here because you're already a little past your limit? We talked about.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
I've got a few more minutes.
Just want to make sure. Actually, you good? You good on time?
Yeah. It's not my bedtime yet.
And I don't have to work tonight, so there we go. Hargate, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Axel, I don't know if you got your bars on this one, but
about the PS5.
Yes.
Great.
Yep. 30th anniversary.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's a great design. I think they all look phenomenal. I'm not gonna trade in my PS5 for a discless PS5. Sorry. As you can see, I'm a physical guy, right? So I'm not going to trade it in, but I am going to try to get the controller.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the regular DualSense controller. I don't have a backup one now, so I want to get a backup one.
You get the Astro one?
No, as much as I like Astrobot, I'm just like, no, I don't want that one. It's just not speaking to me. But this one, the gray one, is. I like that it has the colorful PlayStation logo on it. That the buttons have color on them again. It just looks too good to pass up. The one on the right, well, my right,
Mm-hmm.
The one with the white touch screen. It just looks too good to pass up. I think it's going to be. I think the color scheming is fantastic. If I do end up getting one of the consoles, not the Portal, not the other controller, the Edge controller, one of the consoles, it's going to be for the purpose of scalping it and selling it for double. Just putting it out there. I'm going to try. But the only reason I'm going to try is to double my money. That's the only reason.
I think it comes with the plate if you wanted to get the drive. So
it does. It comes with the side plate. Again, that's 400. Like the standard digital console is 450 now, and the drive is $80. So you're looking at 530, right? But let's just take that away. I'm going to scalp this. Let's just pretend I'm scalping this, right? For $400, I'm going to guess this thing's going to launch for $500 at least for the digital only edition, and I'll scalp it for $800-900. Just throwing it out there. Why?
If you can get one of these, I think you're foolish to sell it for $900 because people will want it, and there's only so many of them.
Yeah, there's only 12,000.
Easily get several thousand for that. I think you could easily get several thousand.
I wonder if people have started putting prices up on eBay because they have like tentatively guaranteed.
Wasn't it somewhere between 1,000 to 1,200 for the price on this? So
I know there's 12,000 consoles being made, and that's it.
Yeah. So you're.
But I also heard Silent. Yeah, it might be like that. It might be north of 1,000 to buy it. And
I'll still buy it. I'll sell it for $2, whatever.
Yeah, it was like.
But you should easily be able to get double, triple that easy, because people will want it. So
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So someone has right here PS5 Pro 30th Anniversary Edition pre-order 1,358.
Yeah.
Already on eBay.
And it's only going to go higher, right? Because as soon as they sell out of their initial allotment or their final allotment, people are going to freak out. There's going to be FOMO, and then you're going to see that rate go from 1,300 to 16, 17 easy.
18. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just
people were selling PS5s, $500 PS5s for well over $1,500. It was crazy.
Yeah. And people were dumb for buying it.
Even the Spider-Man
and I want to capitalize on that.
Exactly.
Even the Spider-Man edition, when it was still available in stores, because of the world we live in, because of COVID, because of all these things, you saw that thing hitting between $800 to $1,000, like $800 to $1,000, even though it was available in stores, because people didn't want to go out of their way to go get it. It's insane.
Yep, most definitely. Let's see here. Oh, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. No, there's a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. Definitely, a lot of people are most people aren't interested in it, or they think it's just going to be priced out of their reach, or like you said, buy it to resell it kind of thing. I don't see getting one for myself. It's neat and everything. It's cool, and I guess
they're not very good looking.
Few more years they're gonna be hopefully, and they say they're already working on the celebration for the 25th anniversary of Xbox.
That's in 2 years.
Yeah, so hopefully they're gonna be doing some good things with that. So
Dave, I think the most surprising thing for this, right, is like you announced this edition, yet you're working on the PS6 right now.
Yep.
Supposedly.
King David, hashtag no PlayStation 6. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but it's like you look at something like that, and it's like I look at these Nintendo Switch bundles that they've done recently, right? Yep. The ones where it's not even related or tied to a specific brand, like the recent Mario Kart one or the Zelda one or whatever. They're not even custom systems to that specific brand, but they're still like higher price because it provides the game with it or whatever. And people are going nuts over it. And it's one of those things where it's just like, dude, it's a system with a digital copy of a game. That doesn't matter at all. If it was a custom one or something, I could understand, like the Zelda one that released earlier this year. That is something that you keep, because you can sell that for an insane amount later if you decide to scalp it. It's what it is. But something like this, like fans of the brand will buy it almost no matter what. It feels like no matter what, with PlayStation or Nintendo. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yep. All right. Well, let's jump on this. This is the last topic, and I'm just gonna play the clip, and I think you guys will figure out what it's even the heading. It's a little short clip, but it's a little interview that talking about some of the things that the Xbox president Sarah Bond has laid out. Interview from Bloomberg. So let's listen to this real quick.
Sarah Bond is trying to move the Xbox business beyond the Xbox console. Head of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer, says that they've been selling consoles to the same 200 million global households, and they really want Xbox to mean more than the plastic box in your living room. Sarah Bond's mandate is to expand Xbox's games into phones, into next generation hardware, sure, but also, potentially handheld, which is something that she and her boss have sort of teased at.
Your story is so fascinating because you go into the relationship between her and her boss, how they turned to HR to really ensure that they could communicate more efficiently, but also her history at T-Mobile. What is she going to bring to the table, Cecilia?
Yeah, Sarah Bond's history from T-Mobile really gives Microsoft expertise that was lacking in the mobile world and in the mobile gaming world in particular. So at T-Mobile, she's someone who knows a lot about subscriptions, a lot about how to keep people coming back to a product, and also how to trim subscriptions in a way where users don't feel bloated by extra services they don't need. And Microsoft has a sort of Netflix for game service called the Game Pass.
Yeah, it's called the Game Pass.
You can tell who's not a gamer. The Game Pass.
Exactly. Exactly. So Axel, what do you think? What do you know? I mean, it's definitely going to be a future for Xbox, and Sarah seems to be full throttle, all for it. I mean, that's good for us, right? So, what do you think?
I want native games. I want to be the option to install games natively on my phone.
Yeah.
The cloud is great. Don't get me wrong. I play on the cloud all the time. It's gotten better over time. And it's fantastic, but there's just something about native installs that is just the cloud can't compete. So I think they need to do what they have to do with Apple, with Android, whatever, to get those games certified, and do what they do with the PC. Like, oh, you want to buy it. But if you have Game Pass, you can download it for free. But they need that Game Pass app to go. They're struggling because the Game Pass app has to be native to the system, and Google and Apple want their 30% or whatever it is that they want from every subscriber, every monthly subscriber, right? And that's the mountain they have to try to climb. Is how do they get their Game Pass app to not pay royalties to Google and Apple, right? And I think that's hindsight's 2020. They should have kept Windows Phone, because if they would have done a Windows Phone Game Pass edition or whatever, I would have bought it instantly, right? And then they tried the Surface Phone, but now the Surface Phone has kind of fizzled out. I don't know if you noticed that it fizzled out. So Sarah was saying that they were going to launch a mobile web store, and it's nowhere to be seen so far. So they are facing real challenges in the mobile space because the platform holders, Google and Apple, they have that tied up so tight it's not even funny. It's not like the PC space where Xbox had to make Windows open source, all that good stuff. Where even companies can have access to the kernel, the Windows kernel, which is stupid. But whatever, it is what it is, right? That's how open it is. So I do want Xbox to succeed more in the mobile space, especially because that's where the kids are playing. That's where Gen Alpha is playing, right? They're not asking their parents for consoles. They're asking their parents for PCs and for phones, multi-purpose devices, that can also play games. And that's where they have to go. Now, I know that the clapback to this is, Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed, was it? Assassin's Creed on mobile, and it sold terribly. They sold only like 2,000 copies or something like that. it sold awful. And that's where I'm getting at. They need to get Game Pass on the phone. If they get Game Pass on the phone and it's part of a subscription, and parents know that it's part of the subscription, it's like, here, play Game Pass, play Xbox. They're literally going to hand their kids their phone and say, play Xbox. And they need to get that going. And that's how they're going to start getting this young generation is going to start getting, I'm an Xbox gamer. I'm an Xbox gamer. I play Xbox. Oh, I've been playing Xbox since I owned my Samsung Galaxy. I've been playing Xbox since I was on my mom's Samsung Galaxy 24 or on my mom's iPhone 15 or whatever it was, right? Because we have stories like, oh yeah, I've been a gamer since I got my Nintendo for Christmas or whatever, and it's going to change stories. And I think that's where Sarah Bond is going, and I really hope they figure it out because I think they need to get that going. And I'm not talking the cloud Game Pass. I'm talking the native Game Pass app, like where you can pick a game, click on it, and either it gives you the option to install it natively on your phone or to play it on cloud. So that's what I'm talking about. And so I need them to port some of these games to run natively on phones because these phones are starting to be able to do ray tracing now. So they're pretty beefy phones now.
Definitely.
So yeah, so I agree with Sarah Bond where she's going and how she plans on growing it. It is a good goal to have, but getting there, they have been struggling, and I hope they figure it out.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Welcome out, Ray. It's good seeing you, buddy. Good seeing you there in the chat. And all right, so Silent, what are your thoughts on this?
Goodness. Sorry. Yeah, forgive me.
Too much? You okay?
I was hanging in the chat for a second.
It's all right.
No, you're good. Remind me what we're saying. Sorry. I was in chat.
We're talking about Sarah's basically doubled down on the platforms that are coming, that they're investing in that and expanding the ecosystem even further than where it is right now.
Yeah, so
to become world dominant.
I mean, here's my thing, right? Like it requires a lot of different groups, be it Google, be it Apple, all those ones to actually agree with working with them together to actually make this work. Obviously they're going to want their piece. They're going to want their 30% or whatever, as Axel was mentioning. And so I'll be curious as to how it actually works out for them in regards to this. There was a little bit of workaround, as it seemed like, with them using the browsers, right? They just go through a browser instead of using an actual app, so that way they could actually do those type of things. But it becomes more work for the consumer to actually go through and do those different things. It's not as convenient for a consumer, which when that type of stuff happens, we've seen it over and over again in pretty much everything as far as apps or whatever. As soon as you add more complexity for the consumer to try and purchase something, they are not going to care. They're going to do it in the easiest manner that they have. And so like if it's already available in one ecosystem versus another, or one that's easier than another, then it's not going to go very far. And I think that was the thing with Xbox originally, is because of all of the court cases and all the things that they were dealing with, you couldn't just sell the game directly to them. You had to go through different channels, or you had to purchase it on another system just to even access it. And it became kind of a hassle. So I think it's going to be one of those things where like the stars have to align, where Apple, Google, all those ones agree to work together. But again, that's going to require those different ecosystems to get how much they want, like the 30% or whatever from the purchase. I don't think Microsoft's ever going to get it exactly to how they prefer as far as the financial backing. Like you look at something like Microsoft with Call of Duty. They've got Call of Duty for Sony, but they're still going to get 70%, but they'll have the 30% that goes to Sony, right? So like they're not always going to get exactly the market share or the financial backing or return as they want. It's just I don't know. I feel like there would be an ideal situation for them if they could negotiate it to like a 90-10, like what they were trying to do a few years ago with some of the different ones. They offered that. I forget, Hargeet, maybe you remember which one it was, but I think it was like they did like a 90-10 split for the return in as far as the purchase. And it was one of those things where like something like that works out really well, but it just I don't know. I don't think they're going to get Apple or Google or any of those ones to actually agree to that low a percentage. I don't know if you remember the ones I'm referring to.
Yeah, so the Microsoft Store for games, I think it is something like that. It's not 70-30. It's either 85 or 90%.
I think it got to like a 90-10. I'm drawing a blank on the exact specifics because it was a few years ago, but like I remember that they actually got to a point where they're like, hey, we'll kick you this. We'll take a much lower amount. And that works for them to get more things into their ecosystem. But I don't know in regards to somewhere like Google or Apple, if they're willing to accept that. Like I feel like some of them are very aggressive on it and they just don't want to accept the idea of allowing their protocol or some of their app or whatever to allow those things on their system. It's the same thing that you look at with like Fortnite, right? Like they had a struggle with the Apple system when it came to Fortnite because they wanted more of that actual funding. They wanted more of the money up front, where you couldn't just go right through the Epic Game Store website to purchase that money or purchase like the battle pass or whatever. So I'd just be curious as to how that works.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's
sorry if that
no.
I feel like that came out kind of mushy. I'm not too particular with some of those details on it, but it just like it feels like Microsoft is kind of have to bend the knee on some of those financial aspects and accept like it's going to be a 70-30. And maybe they have to give up some more in the process, but I know they've done that on some of the other deals in the past. So maybe they could make something work, but I just don't know if it's possible with someone like Apple, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Hargeet, just before I go to you on this, we are 13 subscriptions away from getting to 3K. So if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That would be nice. I promise you, we'll do this great content for you every single Sunday. Only Sunday we miss is the Super Bowl. So, got to shoot me for that. But yeah, so yeah, if you get a chance and you like your content that's coming out from us, just hit the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. Doesn't cost anything. It's free to do. To hit the subscribe button, and you'll know when we're around. So yeah, that would be awesome. All right, Hargeet. So I didn't realize I had my camera off. Sorry. Hello, sorry. I was checking out something else. Silence says hit the subscribe button. Just kidding. But yeah, so Hargeet, your thoughts on Sarah's?
I mean, we know they're already working on a new platform. We already heard that from them.
The most powerful platform ever.
Well, the most technological leap, the highest technological leap. You have to parse those words, right? Don't expect it to be because look, at some point you have to take the fact that we're already having like high enough end graphics. I don't know that you're going to get something that's just graphics or if it's going to go into the AI realm, right? So we'll have to see what they mean by all that, but whatever. Axel, I'm kind of curious. When your kids play, do they play mobile with a controller or do they just touch the screen?
I don't have kids. I have nieces and nephews, and they just touch the screen.
And then for computer, they're probably using keyboard mouse. Are they using a controller there?
A controller, the one that has the computer old enough, right? Is controller all the way. He doesn't like that the WASD keys aren't level like the up, down, left, right keys. So he's controller all the way.
Okay. Because I think that is going to be a barrier, and believe it or not, because I think like we grew up playing on controllers, and that was the input method. I don't know that translates anymore. So if you start playing on a mobile device, your input is I touch the screen. And that is a different input method. And to translate that into a many button controller is another little barrier of entry. And I'm just throwing that out there as a thing to think about. If you're getting into more complex games, fair enough. You can figure out whether you want keyboard, mouse, or controller, and then you'll just learn, right?
Right.
But this is kind of one of those things they have to consider when they're trying to look at going into mobile. So you take something from, you take something like Assassin's Creed and you put it there. Okay, does that work with touch, or is it really intended to work with a controller?
I didn't pay for the game, so I have no idea. But I know that on the Game Pass app on the phone, when you go to launch a game, some of them say touch input and some of them say controller only.
And that's fair. And then what that touch input means is it's an emulated controller view that you see all the buttons on the screen, right? And it's like, well, no.
Yeah,
it's got to be
yes and no.
Yeah, it's got to be something that does not worry about A, B, X, Y, or triggers and whatever. All that goes away. That's kind of the thing. And when you're talking about screen real estate on a mobile device, that's another problem, right? So when put an Assassin's Creed on there, I'm assuming the controls were really intended to be either keyboard, mouse, or a controller, and so that's going to be a barrier of entry if you're going to try to make that work, right? That's something they need to go figure out. If you want to make games work on that, you have to change the way you have input and how that works within that game. But either way, that is something that is an interesting area when it comes to AAA games moving over, which they'll eventually figure this out. They will eventually figure it out. As far as platforms, like you're saying, Silent, that they have to work out this contractual thing on. So look, the point was that they could put a store there that has no tie to Google or Apple, but it would be on the device. That was what the spirit of what the EU regulators were looking for. That isn't what happened. So Apple decided, no, we're going to charge you. And by the way, our 30% is minimum. So you have to charge beyond that, which makes it ineffective, right? So now they're fighting that piece of it to say, well, what the heck's the point, right? So if we want to put a store there, we have to have a competing store that can charge differently than what you're doing, right? So that's still in limbo. So we will see where that goes. That might be years. If it does happen, that could be an interesting vector for them. But that would have to be something that does not have payments to Apple and Google. Or like you're thinking, maybe marginal payments, but not, hey, you have to pay the full boat over here and then you can charge on top. It's like, no. It's gotta be we own the store and you go away. But they're, obviously they're reticent, but it doesn't matter. At some point, because of the ubiquity of those systems, the government is going to tell them, too bad, just go away. You are not going to be able to control the entire thing. It's not possible that you will have only one store for anything on that platform when billions of people use it. You're good luck. It's just not going to happen. So they are going to get pushed back. It's going to eventually figure itself out. But that is a long-term problem, and that's not going to happen within the next year or two. So we'll figure out when that happens. It happens. As far as the platforms, though, we know we're getting another console. They're already doing games on mobile. They're already doing games on PC. They're all day-and-date PC anyway. The real question is, where do they push the technology merge between Windows and Xbox? I don't know where that goes. But like you're saying, Axel, like the next generation isn't really console focused. It's a construct. It's one that we're used to because it was very difficult to do the things that we're trying to do without a console, right? But that's not the case anymore. Like you can get a mini PC, it can be pretty powerful, and you can put it under your TV, right? That used to not be the case, right? And that's why you needed to have a console that dedicated itself and had specific hardware just for gaming, and that would plug into your TV. That has all changed. The Series X, the Xbox One, the PS4, PS5, these are all PCs. They're just direct their PCs. And that's just continuing, right? They're still continuing to be PCs. On the Xbox side, it literally runs Windows. It's running Windows. It's stripped down.
Yep.
So you just say, okay, well, I'll add a few more features, and it kind of takes all the Windows games too. Now what? Right? At that point, you're basically a ubiquitous box. Look, I've always said I think the best answer for them is to take advantage of Windows. With Windows 12, they should have an Xbox capability, and you can sell that as an OEM Xbox thing to certain OEMs and say you can make an Xbox. Now, Xbox itself has auth chips, so it does have to conform to certain levels. They will have to sell them the auth chip, and that will have to allow them to be an Xbox, right? So it'll be a certified device. So not everybody's gonna be able to just do that. You can't just build your own PC and it'll be an Xbox. But you can kind of get the Xbox UI, but you won't get the Xbox feature set fully, right? So in other words, if you want your back library, you're gonna have to buy one of these certified boxes, right? Because then it can guarantee that it's locked down, and so you get your entire old, Xbox 360, Xbox original, Xbox One, whatever games, Xbox Series games, and all that stuff. That can happen, but it's a question of whether they want to do it. I think right now they're probably still focusing on just an Xbox. If they do it right, they can start bringing in the other stores. But ultimately, I think they're going to have to just converge at some point to just make it.
Right.
It's just that's it, and that way you eliminate this whole cycle of hardware, and instead it's, hey, Asus has a new one, it's got more power, I want to buy it, go for it, right? Or hey,
Instead
Lenovo
of
put one out, put one
Xbox
out.
Series or Xbox One, it's going to be like Xbox 2024, Xbox 2025,
Yeah,
whatever.
from whoever, right? And as long as it does the Xbox thing, your fully certified Xbox, you have your whole ecosystem just come with you, right? And PC already does that, of course, right? So I think that's kind of where they need to converge, and we'll see if they do it or not, right? But that's the obvious step going forward, because at some point the power narrative becomes unnecessary. You get to a point where it's like, well, how much better is it going to look, right? 6090, is that it? Like at 5090, like I still don't even know what they're going to show me with a 5090 that my 4090 can't already do, right? So what are they going to tell me? This is the reason you need to spend $2,000. Why? What?
Ray
What's
tracing,
the
baby.
Right? But I already have it. I have path tracing. So like what more are they going to show me, right? And so then at some point that like the 4090 in 10 years will be junk, right? It just will be, right? So at what point does like the graphics level get to such a ridiculous level? They're like, I don't need more than this. But hey, as an enthusiast, I like cool new gadgets. So hey, I can get this one that's portable that does this. Cool, I'll buy that. But it's an Xbox certified device, right? I can buy one that plugs underneath my TV. Okay, cool. Or hey, my TV has native Xbox. Awesomeness. I can just use that, get a controller. I'm good, right? It's just the future is going to be different if they make it so it's multi OEM instead of just being locked. I think they're going to stick to that now. But we'll see what they do with the portable. I don't know what that's going to look like. We'll see. But that's kind of my thought. It's definite they're going to do one. We know we're getting new hardware. She did mention she did mention that we get something new this holiday. Maybe that just meant the new boxes we already know about, or maybe they announced something at the Game Awards.
Or a new controller.
Hopefully more.
Something. Yeah. Who knows, right? But that would be very cool, right? We'll see how all that goes, but yeah, all they're basically saying is the stuff we already know. They're making a new console. It is what it is. As long as we want one, they'll make one.
There you go, guys. Wow, what a hell of a good show tonight, man. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out and giving inputs, and thank you to the wonderful people that stopped by in the chat, including such greats as Paris Lily, who stopped in for a while. We appreciate Paris stopping in and hanging out with us, and so many more. Dirk Griggity and just so many more that were hanging out with us, Infinite Umbra and others, and Joey. Joey, thank you so much for hanging out. Joey, need to get you back on again. You need to just, Joey, if you get a chance, figure out when you're available and then let me know, and then I'll add you onto the show. That way, because I know you got a work schedule that you have to kind of weave in and out of, but you just you let me know. And I'll make it happen because I'd love to have you back on again. Just saying. Anyway, and FarQ, awesome show, gents. Thanks, FarQ. Oh yeah, Fuck you. Fuck you. I love saying it that way. Love you, fuck you. You big sexy. Anyway, so all right. So with that all said and done, let's go around the horn. Axel, please tell everybody where they can find you, what shows you got on, and when they're airing. So please, so they can reach out to you.
Yes, everybody. So I run the Iconic Video Games channel. I run 2 shows there. The first one is the Iconic Video Games podcast, where we talk about the games we loved playing, the games we are playing, and the games we look forward to playing. Consoles are not part of the talk. It's just games. That one runs every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I try to keep it short and sweet, but sometimes we go over. And then the other show I go is a news recap. Good Morning Xbox every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. So for those of you who are early risers and are looking for something to listen to, some Xbox talk on Sunday mornings, maybe on your way to church, please hit us up. And yeah, I'm trying to make it to 500 subscribers, but we'll see when I get there. I think I'm at 400 right now, so I'm trying to get up to that extra, just that little extra.
Yeah, well, guys, if you get a chance, the description, in the description of this video, there is the link to Axel's channel. So please, if you get a chance, click on that link. And even if you're listening later on audio, it is also in that description as well. So please click on there, hit the subscribe button for this man. He does a great show every week, 2 shows every week, and it's I'll say it's clean, it's fair, and he will let you when you're in the chat. He'll let you know that you are his. What are you? Give me mic on. There we go. Say it one more time.
There we go. All right, there we go. I had 2 mute buttons. There. I'll let you guys know for coming in that you are the real MVP.
Exactly. I love it. Every time he does it, it's like, oh man, it's cool. So yeah, so Axel, dude, thank you so much for being on tonight. And Farq you put it up there for you. MVP, baby.
That's right.
That's right. That's
Farq
right.
is one of my newer subscribers, so thanks to him. Yes.
He is fantastic. A great member of the community. And so yeah, but Axel, dude, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. And hopefully you'll be back on soon. And next time you're talking to Terry, let her know that I'd love to have her on sometime as well.
I'll let her know. She runs a busy life, but
I know she does. I know it's one of those people. It's like, a couple people reach out to me like, oh, I'd love to be on, but I can't. I'm not right now.
Right.
Yeah. And things happen. Life happens too. So it's just the way it is. So, but and again, Axel, thank you so much for being here. Great to have you on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, and thank you for being here. Silent Cypher, the man who's not so silent, even when he's sick and muted, he still finds a way to kill. Yeah. So, Silent, please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can reach out to you, and all the stuff and all the shenanigans you put up with Crazy Louie and all the things you have to go through with him. Poor guy. That one meme that was falling back out of his chair. Gosh dang, that was so funny. Anyway,
dude, when that happened, I felt it needed to be shared to everyone as much as possible. Thank you again for having me. Thanks for tolerating my shenanigans. It's great to hang out with you, Hargeet, and Axel, of course. Yeah, as far as where you can find me primarily social media. Find me on Twitter, being just kind of a monster there. Find me as Silent Cypher. Find me on some of the other social medias as well. Unfortunately, my TikTok got indefinitely banned. I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Still waiting to hear actually what the feedback is for how that happened.
You don't think it was your OnlyFans foot fetish page?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Is I never posted my OnlyFans foot fetish page on TikTok, so I don't know how it correlates. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's something that happened. Maybe I shared a link I wasn't supposed to. But anyways, chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Yeah, so you can find me on Wednesdays at Xbox International on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll find me this coming Friday on Fuzzy Belvedere and Ferocious Fee's podcast. It's Fright Nights with Ferocious Fee. Nice. We're going to be discussing the horror movie Zombie Strippers if I remember correctly. So we'll be hanging out
Classic.
talking about that one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's
I'm
a
sure. I'm
horror
sure
movie.
You are.
Yeah.
hey man, it's a Robert Englund film, or at least it has Robert Englund. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun to have stuff with the original Freddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so come hang out with us. Obviously Wednesdays and then Friday for the horror film. And then besides that, I think it's going to be kind of quiet for a couple weeks. I actually have a little bit of work stuff that's going to keep me away from the podcast side of things for a minute. But thank you, chat. And yeah, thank you guys for tolerating, again, my shenanigans. I appreciate it.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I tell you that on the show that they do, Fuzzy and his wife, if they ever do an episode on blood-sucking freaks, I'm really interested to see their breakdown of that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but yeah. Anyway,
No,
we will not talk about it here. How's that? Anyway, so Hargeet Chani, buddy, you the man. Thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody where they can find your book, where they can audition to be your audio podcaster for your book. I'm just kidding. No, and seriously though, great having you on, man. Always loving having your insight and the things you talk about here. So please tell everybody where they can reach out to you, where they can find you, or if you just want to talk about your next one or all the shows you're going to be on, because you're on a lot of shows. And appreciate you being here on mine as well.
Yeah, so subscribe away to my channel. It's Hargeet Chani 1 on YouTube. If you want to pick up my sci-fi novel, it's Emergence. It's shop.chani.us. Check that out. Next up is going to be Boom's show on Wednesday, and then GameStalk Live right after. So 7 p.m. US Eastern on Double Barrel Gaming, and then 10 p.m. Eastern on Fawn's Gaming. Check those out. I think I'll end up being on C Money and Doodles a Thursday night show because it'll be after TGS. So we'll break down TGS, and then I'm on their Friday show anyways on night shift, and that's at 8 p.m. So both of those will be at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time on Point for Gamers. So check those out.
There you go.
Oh, and thanks for joining us, Silent and Axel.
Yes.
Hey, thank you for having me, Hargeet.
Definitely.
Thanks for having us.
Double check, make sure I didn't. We did get the Corkstein's last little thing there. I want to make sure we got them all. And then let's see. We read that one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty sure this was
Let's
about
read it
the
again, just in case.
This was about the
Tokyo Game Show.
Not Tokyo. The game was the StarCraft, right? Is that? I think that was yes. Makes sense to help blow TGS like they did for Game Awards. Yeah. We did definitely read that one.
Cool. I don't know why I just had a brain fart. That happened a lot here, being old. Anyway, so yeah, guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks everybody for joining us here in the chat. If you get a chance, you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button. We are literally just 12 away from getting 3K on subscribers, which would be nice to hit, and eventually we'll get there. I know it's a long way away from 100K, so we'll just. But every subscriber is one step closer to the ultimate goal. There you go. There we go. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us here on the Gamers Council.
Game over.